beware of the mark of the beast. Show her the way, guide me through these evil roadblocks. I cannot keep the faith, them can't trim my naughty dreadlocks. Say a little prayer for a sunny day, can't take the sky when it's so gray. Jah give me strength so I never go astray. Listen what the kings and happy say. Protect me from the evil in the streets, protect me from the robbers and thieves. I'm begging for some strength when I get weak. Must beware of the mark of the beast.
You Kingston and Wailing soul in the place.
Protect me from the evil in the streets, protect me from the robbers and thieves. I'm begging for some strength when I get weak. Must beware of the mark of the beast. Show her the way, guide me through these evil roadblocks. I cannot keep the faith, them can't trim my naughty dreadlocks. Say a little prayer for a sunny day, can't take the sky when it's so gray. Jah give me strength so I never go astray. Listen what the kings and happy say. Protect me from the evil in the streets, protect me from the robbers and thieves. I'm begging for some strength when I get weak. Must beware of the mark of the beast. Protect me from the evil in the streets, protect me from the robbers and thieves. I'm begging for some strength when I get weak. Must beware of the mark of the beast. Oh, Jah give me the strength so that I never go astray. As I trod over these hills, over mountains and valleys, please guide me on my way. This is what I pray. At times in life we struggle, but I'm trying to keep the faith. So much going on in this world that is wrong. We're searching for the answers to the questions in this song. Do you have some time for me? Please hear me when I plead and take away this negativity. Yeah. Protect me from the evil in the streets, protect me from the robbers and thieves. I'm begging for some strength when I get weak. Must beware of the mark of the beast. Protect me from the evil in the streets, protect me from the robbers and thieves. I'm begging for some strength when I get weak. Must beware of the mark of the beast.
They try to clip up branches, but them can't kill the roots. Life can be a struggle, so we're off it is to use. Don't give me the drugs to juggle, don't give me the guns to shoot. Just trust in Jah and you will find a way to make it through. The race is for the swift, chosen are a few. Babylon, I ask the question like an interview. Because it's in the paper, do you think that makes it true? Just follow Jah teachings and you're gonna make it through. Cause
protect me from the evil in the streets, protect me from the robbers and thieves. I'm begging for some strength when I get weak. Must beware of the mark of the beast. Protect me from the evil in the streets, protect me from the robbers and thieves. I'm begging for some strength when I get weak. Must beware of the mark of the beast.
Jaja work, Jaja work, Jaja work, Jaja work, Jaja work, Jaja work. You Kingston and Wailing soul in the place. Jaja work, Jaja work. Open your head. Jaja work, Jaja work. Yeah, man, I know Kingston. Hear what the man said. Jaja work, Jaja work. Professionals for the job, son.
Numerous cats.
Word up.
Fishing
That's
niggas.
right. Word up.
This is what you call liquid.
Straight blazing through. What? It's like we came to do. Blazing through. Blazing through.
Pass that African black gold over here.
Blazing through.
You know how we rock. This is what we came to do. West leg set up shop.
Attack mode, time to strike like a cobra. Poisonous venom into your system, killing you slower than niggas with blowers to your juggler. My brother's keeper, but I put my brother to sleep if my brother try to creep up. You know me, son, show respect when I'm rocking Napoleon. I had to get some real professionals for the job, son.
Numerous cats.
Word up. Fishing
That's
niggas.
right.
Word up.
This is what you call liquid.
Straight blazing through. What? It's what we came to do. Blazing through. Blazing through.
Pass that African black gold over here.
Blazing through.
You know how we
Blazing
rock.
through. This is what we came to do.
West leg set up shop.
Attack mode, time to strike like a cobra. Poisonous venom into your system, killing you slower than niggas with blowers to your juggler. My brother's keeper, but I put my brother to sleep if my brother try to creep up. You know me, son, show respect when I'm rocking Napoleon. Steam rolling on niggas, my team straight blowing them. Got them throwing their guns in the air like Onyx. Chef Smith and Wesson crime shit, New York's fine.
Let me warn y'all, killers upstairs. I see all y'all heavy like fuck, thinking my niggas might floor y'all. Blow your ammo, Shalard see the guard fly commando. Handle, gun on my leg, blow his hand off. I'm looking at you wild like fuck. You probably think I'm high, seems luck. Chain around my neck, bought it from Egypt. Need what? Hennessy drink, mahogany guns, we trees up. Come out your shirt, buckle knees up. This Casablanca rap nigga, throw some G's up. Less poly, slow-mo status, bring the keys up. Wondering runners is looking mighty greased up. Right, stupid, FBI tell a visa.
Vegas money, niggas hold up guns. Arms full of licks, bust your dick, drop your ones. Baby need new shoes and an outfit. I see you stick the kids, you can't wait to dick lick. You see my set of twin hit men from Bushwick. Two chicks with the 22 text, bitch. You heard about them. Now open up the circle so the dice can breathe. Pay you double if you triple, if you push, you pay me. You got a poly with your booty, stack your loot up. Get your weight up, big up, pull your boots up. When you step into the club, put your guns up. Put the tensions on the mind and raise the roof up. You gotta keep it in the fan and stack your loot up. Get your weight up, big up, pull your boots up. When you step into the club, put your guns up. Put the tensions on the mind and raise the roof up. Raise the roof up.
Raise the roof up. Never before we came to raise the roof up. Raise the roof up. Raise the roof up. Still in all, we came to raise the roof up.
Minota the flash.
Gun in the stash, rolling for Mohad.
Check while you slap fire at them, hold fast.
These niggas gotta pay the hard way.
Free the hard way, your law swinging on them like a San Diego
You heard what
Padre.
the guards say, let's start this. Professional marksmen swimming like killer sharks. We lethal and heartless, on point like a dart, bitch. Bomb your camp if you want this. Connect with convicts on some dark Respect shit.
the
Camouflage cat to get the money and stack. Go to war like Saddam if he pushed to do that. Keep his movements discreet when he out in the streets. Had the stash built the high heat for those who creep. Peep the ghetto bastards running your crib like two masked men. I run with a tech and we ain't asking, we blasting. Chef brought the extra cannon from Staten. Rhyme official live broadcasting making it happen. You gotta make power moves, black guns and cash rules. Hold my 8 straight cause I've been paying dues. Waves came from way back trying to see your meal stack. Miami money cash to leave you laying down flat.
Got a poly with your crew to stack your loot up. Get your weight up, big up, pull your boots up. When you bring it in the cut, put your guns up. Put intentions on your mind and raise the roof up. You gotta keep it in the fan and stack your loot up. Get your weight up, big up, pull your boots up. When you bring it in the cut, put your guns up. Put intentions on the mind and raise the roof up. Raise the roof up.
Raise the roof up. Raise the roof. We came to raise the roof up. Raise the roof up. Raise the roof up. Raise the roof. We came to raise the roof up. Raise the roof up. Raise the roof
Word
up.
up.
Raise the
Your
roof.
hands
We had to
down.
raise the roof up. Raise the roof up. Raise the roof up.
This shit is
Raise the roof.
multi.
We came to raise the
Y'all
roof
better
up.
see it.
Your roof.
Word up. Smith West Lex. Another project. For the projects. Next.
Your roof. Your roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let the cocoa bees burn.
You gotta poly with your crew to stack your loot up. Get your weight up, big up.
Yeah, what's good, misunderstood? All right, you want this battle rap tip? All right, let me ask you, as a black Muslim woman, you feel you getting your respect in this game, man? Yo, let the people know, all right?
I'm not getting my respect, but you know what? I demand my respect, and I'm going to take it. Because when the last time you seen a woman that looked like me, that battles, comes in, represent, knocking people's heads off, straight skills, clever bars, swag, super cute. Y'all know how I do. Represent, bring that diversity. And I don't do too much talking, but I want it with whoever. Mother, father, grandmother, your cat, your fish. Shout out to all the women in battle rap, let's go. I don't understand why these cats don't mention me. Got the fire bars and the good energy. They be at all the events, acting all sisterly. Like when's your next battle? Like they really missing me. Podcasters, yeah, they try dissing me. What? I demand my respect, and I'm gonna take it. Cause when the last time you seen a woman that look like me, that battles, comes in, represent, knocking people's heads off, straight skills, clever bars, swag, super cute. Y'all know how I do. Represent, bring that diversity. And I don't do too much talking, but I want it with whoever. Mother, father, grandmother, your cat, your fish. Shout out to all the women in battle rap, let's go. I don't understand why these cats don't mention me. Got the fire bars and the good energy. They be at all the events, acting all sisterly. Like when's your next battle? Like they really missing me. Podcasters, yeah, they try dissing me like I ain't open doors. Like chivalry, what the nerve of the boss and the worker. I'm a sensitive thug, tear joker. I get on tracks, commit murder. You don't want beef, you a plant-based burger. If you was a William Twins, you couldn't serve her. Maybe in the next lifetime like Erica. What's up with the side eye? Wise guy, don't argue with nobody. Can use phone without the Wi-Fi? Who trying to holler? Be the Simba to a Nala. I tell you, it's gonna take more than $40. The one with fire bars, that's me. The one with the Q hijab, that's me. The one that's in her own lane. Beauty and brain, don't do nothing strange for change me. The one who always wanna fight you. The one who needs someone to ghost right you. The one that's always trolling. Legs stay open, need to let it go like frozen. You. That's it. What else you want for free? Google me. Misunderstood. MISSUNDASTOOD on all platforms.
Catching bodies, everybody high. Then I peep that ain't nobody dead. Everybody lie. All this pistol popping, probably pussy popping too. Seen you window shopping, but you cleaned your cop your too. I ain't had the front, I ain't never been a stunt. Double, but I like the stunt. Got a twin if you want double. Matter of fact, it's three if you really think you want trouble. That ain't what you need, nigga. That ain't what you need. Used to want to shine and roll it till I seen the time on it. Used to want a fat at Millie till I seen my mom's on it. Used to want a big ass booty till I seen the grind on it. Used to want a lot and now I got enough and giving into none. Fuck you niggas talking about it, I'm the one. I never talk about it cause I be about it. Subtle cause I'm humble, hit the huddle with the homies cause I like to keep the cleats around me. Talking up your turf, bitch I'm from the dirt. Bitch I know my work, bitch I put in the work. Leave me in the booth, I bet I go berserk. Eating up a dinner, then I want dessert. Never call it dinner unless you call me Dennis and I am a citizen of God. Your city sinning, better send a God. I put your city underneath the synagogue. This is evolution, fuck your revolution. That's a couple riot shirts have been included. I recognize nothing getting televised. Everybody rather tell what they advise. Everybody out here catching bodies. Everybody high. Then I peep that ain't nobody dead. Everybody lied. All this pistol popping, probably pussy popping too. Seen you window shopping, but you claimed you copped your too. I ain't had the front, I ain't never been a stunt. Double, but I like the stunt. Got a twin if you want double. Matter of fact, it's three if you really think you want trouble. That ain't what you need, nigga. That ain't what you need. I'm with it, I got it. 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 I'm with it, that ain't what you need. I'm with it, got 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 it. Yeah. GC.
it's not for the Uncle Toms. But if you know what's going on, you'll understand. Let's get it.
400 years, bloodshed and tears. Lives lost and lives cost, and now the bill is here. My people robbed, y'all took our culture, yet you say forget it. Well, let somebody rob your ass and you forget that shit. You won't forget, you didn't forget. And if I can't say shit about slavery, then don't bring up Hitler. So that's that shit you taught in slavery, forgive and forget them. Well, look, I'm something like Nat Turner, fight back and remember, I got a different agenda. Look, I'm young, not scared, no fear, don't care, no hope in my blood, don't bring that ass round here. I'm here.
This is not for the cowards, it's not for the Uncle Toms. But if you know what's going on, you'll understand. Let's get it.
400 years, bloodshed and tears. Lives lost and lives cost, and now the bill is here. My people robbed, y'all took our culture, yet you say forget it. Well, let somebody rob your ass and you forget that shit. You won't forget, you didn't forget. And if I can't say shit about slavery, then don't bring up Hitler. So that's that shit you taught in slavery, forgive and forget them. Well, look, I'm something like Nat Turner, fight back and remember, I got a different agenda. Look, I'm young, not scared, no fear, don't care, no hope in my blood, don't bring that ass round here. I'm here to wake up lions in the jungle and let them know too that if they catch you lurking, bite that ass round here. At the bottoms where they got us, in this squalor, they don't give a fuck about you and me. Now that I promise, and I don't know how much more you need to see to recognize that they're your enemies. Stevie Wonder could spot it. Only cowards be quiet, cause they scared of these tyrants. Y'all care too much about dying. Well, in this war, you might just have to give your life. Cause freedom ain't free, they say it's priceless, the same way your life is. Bull Connor, racist cracker, heartless bastard, sicking dogs and hoes in my brothers back when King marched in Selma. And them racist police remained in the system, got rid of Connor, but the whites who rode with Connor remained in the system. Would hate you and tell you to your face you a nigga. Type to spit on your grave or put a pistol to your temple. And now you wonder why police today keep getting off. Cause shit, them racists back then, now they run judicial systems. Catch up, peep game, too much ain't changed. Didn't love us then, don't love us, so respect us today. And now I'm racist and I'm violent cause abuse I won't take it. It's crazy how you turn the victims to the ones people blame. But no, I swear that now this is a different day. Say we young and fearless, act up and we'll meet you at your gates. We ain't never lived, so look to give our lives, it ain't a thing. I would rather die than live my life a ass-kissing slave. And at the bottoms where they got us, in the squalor, they don't give a fuck about you and me. Now that I promise, and I don't know how much more you need to see to recognize that they're your enemies. Ray Charles could spot it. How much more you gotta see, huh? Only cowards be quiet, cause they scared of these tyrants. Y'all care too much about dying. Well, in this war, you might just have to give your life. Cause freedom ain't free, they say it's priceless, the same way your life is. And what happened to fearless black men? My brother's been lacking. I see too many pretty boys who really bout that action. Ancestors died, placed their lives on the line. Not for us in modern days to sit around like shit ain't never happened. You think that you not a slave. The little money that you got to them is pocket change. And you ain't nothing but a privileged house nigga. As long as you hush when masters say not to say a thing, respect from me you'll never gain. I'm rolling with the soldiers, packed too thick like necks on cobras. I ride with only lions, but we kings outside the jungle. Most of us came from nothing, so we know all about the struggle. This fighting shit ain't new to us, came up like this as youngins. We got heart, that's just how we are. Just don't get us started. I don't rock with my Uncle Tom, that boy he retarded. It's been time for a revolution, say we just been sleeping. I'm just holding arms with all the brothers who do more than marching. Let's go. At the bottoms where they got us, in the squalor, they don't give a fuck about you and me. Now that I promise, and I don't know how much more you need to see to recognize that they're your enemies, but I hope by now you got it. Only cowards be quiet, cause they scared of these tyrants. Y'all care too much about dying. Well, in this war, you might just have to give your life. Cause freedom ain't free, they say it's priceless, the same way your life is.
Praise.
Yeah. Let's do it. Maybe the unlimited edition of dance is a little much for you to understand, and I understand. It's hard comprehending winning from your position. You couldn't see the vision, so you aborted the mission. Listen, my hand hot, I'm gracious. I move through the block in a land yacht. That thing space.
Praise.
Yeah. Let's do it. Maybe the unlimited edition of dance is a little much for you to understand, and I understand. It's hard comprehending winning from your position. You couldn't see the vision, so you aborted the mission. Listen, my hand hot, I'm gracious. I move through the block in a land yacht. That thing spacious is with a different space is. You don't know what 100% imported Italian Egyptian lace is. The root of the family tree, they root for me. Along the scenic route from Pickin' Avenue to Cantonese. I can't believe you niggas would lose faith in the ace. Get deceived and put your faith in the eighth. Looking good, champ. Put your bag in the trunk before I dismantle your swag and put a mag in your gut. I'm dangerous. Take a couple steps back from me. There's homies in the hood that'll shake a rack for me. The chief back. I know you know the fact on who architected the map on how we got where we at. Beethoven, our orchestrated soldiers. Let's get it rolling. Get your chest swollen. We do it big. Been doing it big and still doing it big. I'ma let you live. But you know what it is. Some people call me the greatest. I'm humble when I say it. I can't deny it. I'm amazing. My cadence is electrifying. Cage the lion. Condemn them from the airwaves. Give them minimum wage. I commend them for trying. Look, I built bridges without the alliance. My name should be engraved in mahogany and gave to science. Here's a blueprint on how you do shit. You gotta shake and move shit within your own movement. And don't lose it, keep control. Don't throw out your pole, fishing for positions you can't hold. And remember the goal. This is chess, not checkers. Every step ain't a step, every step is a lesson. You can run into some pressure, but ain't no need of stressing that. It's gonna be some roadblocks on the path to where your blessing at. You gon' have to GPS it to find another route to get it. Recalculating can take a second, don't be reckless. The chief back, I know you know the fact on who architected the map on how we got where we at. Beethoven, our orchestrated soldiers. Let's get it rolling. Get your chest swollen. We do it big. Been doing it big and still doing it big. I'ma let you live, but you know what it is.
You are watching UBN.
Thank you for tuning in to UBN.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey yo, I laid in my bed and thought about everything. The light, dark, and the heavy things. The house, the kids, the wedding rings. And in a piece that I'd never seen. Divine light that'll shine so bright and so white. It's like they got it out of Medellin. Let me set a scene. The fruits of your talents hanging in the balance like a brand new evergreen. It come crashing down as soon as the machete swings. Looking for better things. Looking for that same energy that niggas talk but never bring. No original thought. Anti-inflammatory medicinal bars. Special edition of pause for combat. Hey, gone the niggas we lost. My man was heavy on my mind, so I gave him a call.
You are watching UBN.
Thank you for tuning in to UBN.
Yeah.
in my bed and thought about everything. The light, dark, and the heavy things. The house, the kids, the wedding rings. And in a piece that I'd never seen. Divine light that'll shine so bright and so white. It's like they got it out of Medellin. Let me set a scene. The fruits of your talents hanging in the balance like a brand new evergreen. It come crashing down as soon as the machete swings. Looking for better things. Looking for that same energy that niggas talk but never bring. No original thought. Anti-inflammatory medicinal bars. Special edition of pause for combat. Hey, gone the niggas we lost. My man was heavy on my mind, so I gave him a call. Remember when I couldn't picture this vision at all? A little riddle only time intended to solve. While foundation tend to hide all the little flaws. Fresh off an R&R. We celebrate the healing scars. Back to back like it's no tomorrow. Another chapter for the memoir. Here we are.
Everything I did for you. After all you put me through. Maybe then you'll start to see everything you mean to me.
Come on.
Everything I did for you.
Yeah.
After all you put me through.
Okay.
Maybe then you'll start to see everything you mean to me.
I laid in my bed and thought about everything. And you know what idle time bring. It bring you further from the place where you design schemes that had your life tucked deep behind the glass screen. Picturing perfection, when perfect just a perception. A fantasy that lasts long as an erection. There's no discretion, you've been ill-advised. The look in her eyes, behind the pain and disdain lies a truer God remembering the better times. You know shit just happened, she heard better lines. Tiptoeing around the house, quiet little mouse. Maybe she ignored all the warning signs. Reality kinda mortifying. Y'all apart in the future kinda horrifying. Faded picture, broken glass, let a little time pass. You see, it's love here and there's no denying. Black man so defiant, all wound up like you Nolan Ryan. Ready to take the battlefield with his soldiers dying. Whole time got wifey on his shoulder crying. Got a Miyagi on your side, why you Cobra Kaiing? He admitted my sex drive is fucking me. Man's in recovery but relapse into a pair of double D's. Somewhere inside a fucking double tree, right outside Montgomery. This is how it comes to be when you get into what's lying underneath. Talking about a cycle never broken, I'm exposing what was done to me. For generations, exhibit some more patience. A little piece is all we chasing.
Everything I did for you. After all you put me through. Maybe then you'll start to see everything you mean to me.
Yeah.
Everything I did for you. After all you put me through.
Okay.
Maybe then you'll start to see everything you mean to me.
The UBN Movie of the Week, Everything, starring Wendell Pierce as Fonte and Kenan Thompson as rapper Big Pooh, coming this fall.
Yeah. Mama had a baby and the baby wasn't happy about the world that he was living in. This shit is fucking crazy. He was moving through the system and the system tried to raise him as a slave in the system, but he switched up in his ways and then learned about the murder and the contradicting logic of the system he was living in. A human is a product of persuasive education, turn a human to an object, and the object of the game is to find a way to tame all the people on the planet, to control it, to command it, but it starts inside the brain, the conditioning and planted in the mind of the people into over-understanding education from the slave master. Everybody dancing to the rhythm of the killing and the lying and the stealing. Deconstruction of the buildings we was building for our children, gave our children to the system for the system to devour. Turn our men into cowards and our women into weapons and the soul. Yeah. Mama had a baby and the baby wasn't happy about the world that he was living in. This shit is fucking crazy. He was moving through
the system, and the system tried to raise him as a slave in the system, but he switched up in his ways and then learned about the murder and the contradicting logic of the system he was living in. A human is a product of persuasive education, turn a human to an object, and the object of the game is to find a way to tame all the people on the planet, to control it, to command it, but it starts inside the brain, the conditioning implanted in the mind of the people into over-understanding education from the slave master. Everybody dancing to the rhythm of the killing and the lying and the stealing. Deconstruction of the buildings we was building for our children, gave our children to the system for the system to devour, turn our men into cowards and our women into weapons, and the soul. What about the soul and the body, or the temple to the gods that's in everybody's body, and the soul is the body and the energetic presence of the person at the essence. It will travel through dimensions to the places that are mentioned on the prophets that are written by the ancients, putting every human in position day and night. Day and night. Yeah, know where you going, pick what you choosing. Take your heart with you on the path that you are pursuing. Moving steadily moving whenever you're moving. Put your all in, even when falling, you'll never be losing. I mean, you'll never be what you'll never be, but you can be what you can. And you can do what you never done, and you'll become what you ain't. I mean, like, you can be what you never thought that you can be. If you do the things you never thought that you can do, you gotta do into the future what you didn't used to do. So, swimming in the femininity of a feminine energy. And I am a masculinity with a passive energy. I am the truth that lies on the path of my enemies. I am the truth that lies in the past of my enemies. I am the past that remains in the future of the present. I am the present that remains in the future of the past. I am the gift of life and the life of the gifted. Becoming the burden of relief when the burden is lifted.
Good morning. This is Logic, and you're watching the Morning Rant. Thank you for everybody who pulled up so far this morning. We appreciate you. I see everybody in the chat already this good morning. Living Ishay Reviews, aka the good brother Ishay, Virginia Slim, Brown Girl Interrupting, Redemption, Song 76, Just One Love, Ty Bryce, Keenan Kong with the jokes already this morning. Am I forgetting? If I forget somebody, please forgive me. NY Silver Stacker, Michael Grady, and if I forgot, you forgive me. Brooklyn Honcho. The first comment was Brooklyn Honcho. I salute to my guy Brooklyn Honcho, who's on the road, no doubt. So with me so far, I have Steph. Steph got jokes, and we're gonna take it slow. There's a whole lot of stories to talk about. A whole lot of people going to jail. I labeled this episode Straight to Jail, but on certain channels, it's just literally the title of one of the articles that we're going to talk about, perhaps maybe even the first article. And Ty Bryce said, what? He said, what? So let me get a quick sound check. Step, you there, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to the chat.
Good morning, brother.
Hello to everybody.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good to have you here, brother, this morning. And like I said, there's a whole lot of stories we can talk about, but we're going to take it easy. And we definitely going to talk about this main one. But without further ado, we're going to start the show. All right. So you know what we got to do with a topic such as the one we're going to talk about. You know how we're going to have to start this show off. All right.
Warning.
Warning.
The opinions expressed in this program are those of the presenter in their current state of mind, which they have the right to change at any given moment. The iRant Network and the members of the Ranters Union are not responsible for any claims made. All opinions and train of thoughts are welcomed here and protected by the First Amendment and the Ranters Union. All commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, teaching, and or scholarship of copyrighted material is protected by the Fair Use Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. iRant Network and the founder of the Ranters Union, Logic, aka Mr. M, recommends that you take what is said and do your own research. Read a goddamn book and form your own opinion. Furthermore, listen carefully to the ranters rant and debate their opinions and form your own conclusion. Thank you for watching this member-supported program, powered by the Ranters Union and produced for the iRant Network. Good day.
Good morning. This is Logic and Steph got jokes here, and this is the Morning Rant. And the first story we want to talk about, we're going to jump straight into it, is the fact that there is 2 prison inmates in a women's prison who gotten pregnant by another transgender prisoner. We're also going to talk about Nature Boy, the cult leader, and Cuban Goodie Jr. Also, as you may know, the subway shooter. He's turned himself in pretty much walking around the city. And Ed Buck possibly, and this rapper as well. I believe his name is Cash Out. Also going to jail. A whole lot of people going to jail this episode. You know what I mean? Even Kurt Franklin's son.
Going to jail, bitch.
Yeah, a whole lot of people going to jail, man. Even Kurt Franklin's son got caught with the hammer and in a car of a woman who's supposed to be missing. You know what I mean? So a lot of craziness going on in the world. But we're going to start it off, like I said, with this story right here. This comes to us from the New York Post. New Jersey woman's prison inmate impregnates New Jersey woman's prisoner inmates pregnant after sex with transgender prisoner. All right. I've been kind of ignoring the chat so far, and I see it already getting lit up. Salute Orville, who just pulled up. He says, guess who's going to jail tonight? Kanye West. I know nothing about that, but let me know. They got the jokes in the chat already. Virginia Sims says, Joanna Man was murking them in prison. Living in Shea says they got Nature Boy. And yeah, everybody's still saluting each other. Redemption says that Nature Boy shit is wild. Well, I think this is a little wilder. So we're going to start off with this. You know what I mean? It's all crazy shit at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But we're going to start off with this shit right here. So basically, 2 inmates serving time in New Jersey's only state prison for women became pregnant after they had sex with a transgender inmate, according to a report Wednesday. The unidentified inmates became pregnant at the Edna Mehan Correctional Facility after engaging in consensual sexual relationships with another incarcerated person, the State Department of Corrections told NewJersey.com. In 2021, New Jersey enacted a policy to allow prisoners to be housed in accordance with their preferred gender identity. The policy was part of a settlement from a civil rights suit brought by a woman forced to live in men's prison for 18 months. And yeah, there's been a movement. Right here, you can see on the screen some clips playing from another I want to say NBC News piece where they were basically venting about, and this is like, I want to say early 2020, they were venting about being locked up with other men, with men in the prisons. And in doing so, they were able to, get themselves moved. Well, some people were able to, due to that lawsuit they talked about, be housed with men. And women. Transgender women were being able to house with women and vice versa, right? So right now, I think I said a whole lot, and I definitely want to get the opinion of the only panel member here, and as well as you guys in the chat. You are a panel so far. with that being said, feel free to give us your opinions. But us on the mic, let's try to stay, Steph. Let's try to stay a little. I'm gonna say let's go a little PC with this, right? So we're gonna talk about it without necessarily dragging and or demonizing transgender individuals. We just want to talk about this particular incident at hand as best we can without making it about just the whole how we feel about how we may or may not feel about transgenders in general. Steph got jokes. I'm just gonna toss it to you, man. What's your thoughts, man?
The way you preface that as if I was going to start bashing transgenders,
Nah, I would have said
that
the same thing if
that's
it was
not.
just if it was me only, me and you, or me, you, and the whole rest of the panel. That was something I planned on saying regardless. So don't take that personal. But I just want
Okay,
one of the things
okay.
that got to be said too, right? Because we can talk freely, like even in the chat, and possibly go overboard without malice in our heart, but still end up back in YouTube jail, right? So I'm just saying, like, I just want to keep it one way. Let's talk about the issue and without us, necessarily, and that's me included. I'm gonna try to not talk about how I feel about them. Even I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. I want to be as PC as possible when talking about the subject. Is all I'm saying. But Steph, I'm starting with you, and
That's
I'm.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is conflicting because inmates don't have the right to consent, right? So not also is it making this person um, you know, pretty much a rapist, but the fact that they said it was consensual, that means he was a victim as well. I'm sorry, not he. She, however we're doing this, was a victim as well, right? And now there's a baby from it, but you gonna charge them both and deliver the baby? You know what I mean? Like I have no idea how they're gonna handle this. This is uncharted territory. It's actually they're setting the precedent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's funny because we always see people protest to get inside the women's prison.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see trans men protesting to get into the men's prison because believe you me, if you go to that men's prison and you got that pussy getting took. You understand me? You the hot commodity.
Hey, man. You
You
know
ain't
what?
you ain't a nigga no more. I, they gonna wake you up out of that shit. I guarantee you that. These niggas been fucking pillows. Got the
Look at God, just cutting your mic all up. Look at God. Look But let's rewind for a minute. You said something that threw me that took me for a loop. You said when you're in prison, you don't have the right to consent to sex. I never heard that one. You're breaking up still.
oh,
There you go.
damn.
For the record, y'all, Steph is on the road again. Living in Shay says this makes women's prison look recreational. They prepped us for this with orange is the new black. You might have a good point there. Steph, you there? All right, Steph is breaking up, but I did put him on the spot, and I'm gonna go ahead and give some feedback to how I feel about the situation, and hopefully he drops into an area with more reception. I'm gonna say that, and yes, I'm trying to stay out of YouTube jail, brown girl. This is like he said, it's uncharted territory. First of all, it's uncharted territory. I think it's going to set their movement back in regards to what they were trying to do. Is obviously going to set their movement back in what they was trying to do. And I think that the nuance to this whole situation is that, I don't speak for, the LGBTQ community, but from what I'm to understand is someone can be transgender and still have a choice of men or women or even be what they call fluid, right? So just because someone's a transgender female doesn't mean that they're not still going to be attracted to other females, right? So if they still have those body parts, they're going to use it. What say you in the chat? I'm gonna play this clip of these female transgender prisoners asking to move out of a male prison. This happened. This was, I want to say, a couple years ago. I think this will give us more context into how we even got to this point. All right, so we're going to play this for research purposes, and go ahead and leave your comments in the chat.
Discrimination. Being referred as he can be sometimes degrading.
Sometimes you have low self-esteem because they look at you if you wear makeup and they want to talk crazy behind your back or to your face, and you can't do nothing about it.
There's a lot of these guys that don't understand transgender living, and we just don't like hear from the inmates. We hear from the staff as well.
I've been incarcerated now for 14 and a half years. 3 years.
23 and a half years.
I've been incarcerated for 30 years now, and I prefer to be in a woman's prison because I look at myself as a transgender woman, and I should be treated as a woman.
It was a crime spree. I was robbing women for their accessories, their purses, their makeup, because I was too afraid to go into the stores and buy my own things because of the backlash on the streets.
At the California Institution for Men in Chino, where minimum security prisoners sleep on bunk beds in large shared spaces and spend their days in a communal yard, there are 78 female transgender prisoners living among more than 3,500 men.
My first night in prison, it started when I got in the police car. I was terrified. So I get to the county jail and I get undressed, and they was like, when I take off my shirt, it's like, okay, is this individual a man or is a female? So one of the things that they wanted to ask the question, I could see it in their face because I had breasts at that point. So I told them, I said, I was born male, but at night I identify as female. So it was like, okay, we got you in the right spot.
For many of these trans incarcerated people, they'd rather be housed with the gender they identify with, something prisons are required by the Federal Prison Rape Elimination Act to consider on a case-by-case basis.
I prefer to be housed with my identity, but being here with the other guys, you have to fit into where you can fit in. Otherwise, they're going to cast you out.
Being a transgender woman at this facility is a lot harder because there's no privacy. Zero privacy in the showers. The housing unit itself is wide open.
The bunk spaces, getting dressed, putting lotion on, just stuff like that is very, it's hard.
But for many trans women serving time with men, sexual violence is the real fear. According to the Justice Department, 35% of incarcerated trans people report being sexually assaulted, either by other prisoners or prison staff. LGBTQ advocates believe the real numbers may actually be far higher, but prisoners fear retaliation for reporting attacks.
I was attempted to be raped in 2015 by an individual I was in a cell with. He hit me. And when he hit me so hard where I flew into the door. He came and started beating me and ripping my clothes off me. The CO apparently heard me falling up against the door and come running up the stairs. I filed a complaint about it, and it come back now unsubstantiated because of the fact that he didn't penetrate me without no evidence. It didn't happen. It didn't exist.
California's Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation declined to comment on Michelle's allegations. Federal law requires states to ask transgender prisoners every 6 months whether they feel safe and to take that into account when deciding where to house them. But according to an NBC News investigation, of the 4,890 incarcerated trans people currently being tracked nationally, only 15 are housed according to their lived gender. 6 states, which account for nearly 40% of the total incarcerated transgender population, cited privacy concerns and declined to provide housing data. 5 states failed to provide any information at all. At Chino, most of the 10 transgender women NBC News spoke to said they wanted to be moved to a female prison, but they've either been denied or not been asked about their safety concerns. California's Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation says it can't discuss individual cases due to privacy concerns. It does say California houses some trans people according to their lived gender, but declined to provide details. Amy Miller oversees the placement of women in California's prisons.
We actually have a process where we talk to our transgender population. We interview them twice a year to talk about their safety in their housing and their placement, and whether or not they are looking for changes or believe that they need to have accommodations because of their status as being transgender or for any other reason. Can I say for sure what the extent of that interview was, how it was conducted? Maybe, maybe not.
Do you get interviewed every 6 months about where you would feel safest?
No, I get interviewed once a year.
About where you would feel safest?
No. It's my annual review, and they say you would do it in absentia. The question about my safety in a woman or a man.
I think we heard enough. It's a pretty long video. I don't want to bore you guys. But it's still interesting nevertheless. One of the things that I heard them say is that they fear their safety, and they also were looking for some type of privacy. We do have Schoolboy with us this morning. Schoolboy, I just want to bring you up to speed because you just got here. Good morning, first of all.
Good morning.
Good morning, brother. So I was just playing a video that was actually like a short documentary by NBC from February 2020 detailing, transgender women wanting to be housed with women, right? And I guess that movement caught some steam and some wind. And, here we are in 2022 and in New Jersey in a state prison, there is a transgender woman being housed with women, and that transgender inmate got 2 women pregnant in jail. All right, 2 women pregnant in jail. I'll let you catch up. Schoolboy, what's your thoughts about that?
If that's what they want, if that's how they're gonna play the game, that's kind of one of the unintended consequences. That's gonna keep happening.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So and what I failed to say is we're gonna try to talk about it with a little coof. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to go back to YouTube jail. We're not trying to demonize transgender people. That's not our aim up here. We just want to explore this subject. So when you say that's how they want to play the game, that's what's going to happen. You mean you're saying like that's ultimately what they can expect out of housing transgenders with their preferred identity, basically?
Absolutely, because if I get in there, I'm gonna be trans free. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm free today. Mm-hmm. So you need to go let me go to McDonald's real quick. I'll be back. You know. You know what I'm saying?
So you're referring to basically them being able to choose where they prefer to be. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that stood out in the short doc we were just watching was when they started talking about wanting privacy, and I definitely wasn't like scoping any of these individuals out, but a lot of them seem to look like the average homosexual man in prison, with a little light makeup, but still a lot of them, they didn't look like they were like fully transitioned, you know what I'm saying? So they just seemed like guys who wore makeup and said they prefer to be housed with women.
Right.
So is that something that's potentially dangerous, or should they have the benefit of the doubt?
Man, it's a tough call, because if they house them with the men, they might be singled out, and same thing with the women, and it might just be that they have to house them by themselves, which is going to be mean some lonely nights, but that just might be the way it is,
right? Because and also what I started to talk about is like when they say they feel uncomfortable, if you're not fully transitioned, I mean, in retrospect, once they're in the shower, isn't the same uncomfortability that everybody has? Everybody's naked in front of everybody, and that's just the that shit that you shouldn't like about jail.
That part too. Yeah. I don't think I can add anything to that.
Right.
Can,
Yeah, you're back.
all right.
I'm gonna say what you gotta say, but I also want you to elaborate on when you was talking about earlier. That was an interesting point you said, and I had never heard that when you said that people in jail don't have the right to actually have consensual sex.
Right, they don't. Um, that's why it's against the law. You know what I'm saying? When a inmate has sex with a correctional officer, because that inmate that inmate doesn't have consent, so it's automatically rape, and that's what the CO gets charged with. Well, this is an interesting case because these two people, they just had consensual sex as a man and a woman, and they had a baby from it, and
Well, they didn't have the baby yet, but it's two people are pregnant. Two
he
of the
got two people pregnant. That nigga wildin' too.
the two people pregnant. Yeah.
That nigga went to that female prison and thought he was in heaven. Started just fucking hoes left and right, and they love dick.
I
But
mean,
anyway,
is it possible that he was raped?
no, no,
Well, you got that the transgender inmate was raped. You don't think it's possible?
no. So I challenge you this, right? The same
Mhm.
way men who are straight men go to jail and end up sleeping with other men,
Mhm.
right? You put a transgender who has a penis in a facility with women,
Right.
it's a likelihood he might have sex with women.
Well, what I said when you got cut off too is one of the things I said that needs to be explored. Not literally, but one of the things one of the things that need to be taken into consideration. And like I said, I don't speak for the LGBTQ community, but that being trans doesn't mean that they like the opposite sex or whatever. You follow me? Like someone could be trans and then still choose the preferred, who they want to be with, meaning man or woman. And some could be fluid. You have people who are just consider themselves fluid, where they date whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
true.
so what I'm saying is like so to be clear, right? Because I know I'm kind of talking around it. So someone born a male could start going into transition to be considered a woman, transgender, not cut off their penis, and then still choose to date women as they're considering themselves a woman, a female. So I think Living in Shay said it best. He said they definitely need their own prison, point blank. They're not talking about transgender abusing women. They are genetically men, though. I think he is on the nail when he says they need their own prison, or their own wing. You know what I'm saying? I
There you
don't
go.
think, yeah, their own. I know in jail, like they have like a lot of them end up in PC. The PC wing where they're under protection and all of that 24/7.
Hmm.
That happens a lot. You know what I mean? But maybe they
And
need that and then some. Go ahead, Steph.
Logic, I want to go off of what you said about one of the woes of just being in jail or prison. Like at some like listen, y'all gotta set a hard rule on how y'all gonna do it and just execute it. Giving transgenders the option of where they want to be jailed is ridiculous. They committed crimes. These are criminals. These aren't your regular citizens who we're not just talking about regular trans people in the community living their lives, being productive citizens. We're talking about criminals. Stop. Why are we giving criminals such credence, such care? Since when? We feed criminals mush.
It's funny you said that. One of the inmates that we were watching on that video clip was actually in prison for robbing women, for taking women's purses, uh, robbing women. Virginia Slim says even with their own prison, nothing is going to stop the same fuckery from happening. At the end of the day, biological men and women interacting with each other. So I guess are you saying, Virginia Slim, that if they had their own prison, they can still end up fucking a guard? Or something like that, or you
No,
saying that?
no, he's saying it's like if you got a trans man and a
Oh,
trans
well,
woman.
right, because they have their own prison. So then it will be. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It's still it's the same thing. He's
Somebody
right.
can still get pregnant.
Somebody can still get pregnant if you put, and depending on how that person feel, even if you try to separate it, like, okay, this is the transgender women's prison, and this is the transgender men's prison, right? Like, somebody might still come in there and say, I consider myself this, and end up wherever. And yeah, things can still happen. That's a good point. Living in Shade says, wonder how many women it would take to hold him or her down. Maybe it would take 5. I mean, if we're going to be objective, the transgender inmate would have been outnumbered. I mean, it's already 2-on-1. It's already 2 people that got pregnant in one of that person. So you know, Steph, you standing on it. They can't jump them. They can't.
That's not what happened. They even
Men can
said it
get
was
raped, Steph.
consensual.
Guys can get raped. People can get raped.
Yeah, I mean, usually when that happens, I'm sorry, Steph, go ahead.
Yep.
No, it's just the reason I use the word rape is because they don't have the right to consent. It's just
I know
like
why you said rape.
right. It's not like they actually took it from them. No, I don't think nobody got it took.
But I'm saying, is it not possible? That's all I'm saying. Like, it's not possible that they were like, what? You just you fed the lion. Then there's all these horny women in there who haven't got any dick, and then like somebody comes in there with a dick.
It's like okay, you ever seen that meme where the dude was like man, if I had a pussy, I let all my homeboys fuck.
Nah, I ain't see that one.
It was super gay, but it's kind of that's the same situation in reverse. It's a nigga with a dick, and he's like, man, I'm gonna let all my homegirls get some dick.
Right. It's possible. It could be like that too. We don't know at the end of the day. What we do know is that this needs to be figured out. You know what I mean? This needs to be figured out. It's gone too far. You know what I mean? It's gone too far. But I think I had enough of this conversation. Anybody?
I'm just saying when these far left liberals want to make these laws, they don't have the concession and don't have the concessions for them.
Uh-huh.
They don't plan it out. It's just like they're women. We're women. We're just going to treat them like women and think that's just going to be blanket and that's going to solve everything. That's not how it works.
Well, you know what they said earlier? I did also hear them saying that as far as 2 years ago, they said they was doing it on a case-by-case basis when it comes to the federals, right? So with that being said, that's how we ended up where we are now, because I guess some people won a lawsuit, and now that in New Jersey, transgenders are able to house with women and or men, right? But y'all also raised a good point where we haven't heard of any transgender males saying house me with men. That's a good point as well. Schoolboy, any last words before we, close out on this particular subject?
Nah, I think I'm good. On this one.
All right. Steph got jokes. Last words.
Hey, no, we good.
I think we did pretty good. I think we were, pretty considerate with our words. You know what I'm saying? Redemption Song 76 says someone will likely violate in any scenario. Department of Correction is trying to tiptoe around blowback from possible litigation. It's a business anyway. I'm gonna have to agree with her.
Blowback is a hilarious choice of words. But continue.
Yes, I'm gonna have to agree with her, and a lot of people in the chat also agree with her. Ishay agrees, Slim agrees. I hear like a little bit of piercing stuff from your side, so I'm gonna mute you until you're ready to talk. Or you can just mute yourself.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I'll mute myself.
All right. So listen, next up, I want to talk about a cult leader. So, speaking of transgenders and transgender rights, this particular cult leader used to go by the name of Nature Boy. And Nature Boy has recently been arrested, but not before he proclaimed his love for his latest wife. So this particular cult leader has an organization, I believe, by the name of Carbon Nation. I don't follow him much, but I do know more than probably the average person who don't know shit about the man. I remember he was talking pretty crazy on social media years ago about his children being able to play with him, and I do mean that's exactly what he said, and what it sounds like is what he said, but he said it wasn't, you know, he was on some nudist shit, like it wasn't, you know, supposed to be wrong. He says a lot of wild shit on social media. He also, I remember that at one time he was arrested and kicked out of Costa Rica. You know what I mean? So, and then when they kicked him out of Costa Rica, he wasn't wearing any deodorant and he got kicked off the plane. I remember that. Him and his wives were kicked off the plane. Well, recently, before he got locked up, he proclaimed his love for his latest wife, which is also transgender. So we're going to use that to kind of like segue the situation. And we're going to play this little clip of him. We might play a few clips. This guy has a lot of sound bites worthy of replaying, but we're going to play this little clip before we talk about him getting arrested recently and for why.
Big dick. Want a big pussy. A big pussy. Pussy Claude. Pussy white boy. Fat. I'm a fatty. I'm a pussy. I'm a pussy. Come fuck me. I'm a pussy. Come fuck me. Big purr. Brr. Purr. Purr. Jamaicans, all of you Caribbean niggas, you're so funny to me. You say shit like, you a bomber clad pussy wild boy. Party boy. God don't like that. It's funny because you say in one breath, you say, you a pussy clod. And the next minute you say, I am a lion from Zion. And a lion is a pussy cat, you pussy ass nigga. Make up your fucking mind. Are you a pussy or you not? A lion is a cat. Is it not? A leopard is a cat. Is it not? A lion is a pussy, is it not? Oh, big pussy. Big. I got bad news. No one is the nice guy. It's demon time, bitch.
All right, so my man Sleazy Aki said, what the fuck did I just pull up on? This is a cult leader by the name of Nature Boy. He's recently have been arrested, but not before he was able to proclaim his love for his latest wife, who is trans. So I'm actually going to play this news clip, who's going to break it down for us, and then we're going to explore a little bit more of Nature Boy, what he's arrested for, and what we feel about it. We're going to review it.
The accused cult leader is in jail, charged with rape and false imprisonment. We were there for the late night raid.
All new at 5, we're hearing from his supporters for the first time.
If you want to leave, you can leave. Nobody's forced to stay here.
Live, local, late breaking.
My bad, Virginia Slim. He said he had to turn the shit down because his babies was within the earshot. My bad, bro.
Thanks for joining us. Investigators say an accused cult leader shared videos of his crimes online. I'm Lori Wilson.
And I'm George Estevez. DeKalb County Police raided a home after a 3-week investigation. Channel 2 Action News was there as officers took Eligio Bishop into custody. Channel 2's Dave Huddleston live now at DeKalb Police Headquarters. And Dave, Bishop supporters say, look, the group believes in nudity, they believe in nature, and that he's done nothing wrong.
But he's being held behind bars with no bond. It was on March 30th that DeKalb Police got that tip, and we were right there, as you said, George, as the Special Victims Unit raided that home. Channel 2 Action News was right there when dozens of DeKalb officers descended on this brick home in a Decatur cul-de-sac Wednesday night. We saw dozens of officers, detectives, and a tactical team swarm the home on Arbor Chase. Several people were led away in handcuffs and put into squad cars. A nearby neighbor told us this man, Eligio Bishop, runs an online cult called Carbon Nation.
He controls them and do what he says. But like I said, lately it's been turned into abuse from what the neighbors been complaining about from what I hear.
Police would only tell us that Bishop was taken to the DeKalb County Jail on charges of rape, false imprisonment, and sharing sexually explicit content on social media. He's being held without bond. We went by the home Thursday afternoon, and several people who say they are Bishop's disciples came out and talked with me.
Basically, the police raided us on false allegations.
Musa says Bishop is their God, and as a group, they believe in nature, nudity, and kindness. He says those criminal accusations are from a disgruntled former member of the Carbon Nation family.
She's always free to leave. She's saying that she was here on false imprisonment when we have live documentation of us saying, hey, if you want to leave, you can leave. Nobody's forced to stay here.
And Musa said live documentation because Bishop and Carbon Nation shares their beliefs and teachings on social media. Now, we're still working to find out when he will face a judge for these very serious allegations. Reporting live from DeKalb County, Dave Huddleston, Channel 2 Action News.
So we want to tell you what else we've been able to learn about Bishop and Carbon Nation, his organization. So according to a 2017 report from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, Bishop is a former model, stripper, and barber. He has ties to Atlanta dating back to at least 2009. But around 2016, Bishop and his followers moved to Central America. First Honduras, and then Costa Rica.
I just want to say this really quick. I just want to piggyback off of this guy's breaks down. So when he says the guy he brung those people to Central America, that's when I spoke about them getting kicked out of Costa Rica, but they actually got kicked off of the plane on their way out of Costa Rica because they were so natural, and that natural deodorant don't be hitting, and they were so stink that they actually had to make them leave the plane because they smelled so bad. That was the first time I actually seen the viral video of Nature Boy. It's one little sidebar.
Which they were forced to leave in 2017. In 2020, reports show Bishop was arrested in Hawaii for breaking COVID quarantine rules. It's not clear when he returned to Atlanta. So here's another look at the home now, at the center of what we're talking about, that raid, and Bishop supporters will stay on this and bring you any new developments right here in this newscast.
Now to a developing story. Police.
All right, so I want to go ahead and ask my panel, how do they feel about what they heard thus far? If they're available. Schoolboy, Steph? Schoolboy.
Yeah, man. This guy Nature Boy been wilding for a minute. I remember, I think my first time, I heard his name, but my first time actually watching him was on somebody else's podcast. And there was a man and a woman hosting that podcast, and the woman was like genuinely afraid for the people. She was like, "Yo, film it. Make sure you save the tape."
So we usually don't talk about other shows, but for today we have to reference the sources, right? So I think you're talking about Sarnetta when he was on Sarnetta TV.
Yeah.
Sarnetta
Right.
All right, so we're gonna reference those footage. You know what I mean? Sarnetta don't flag us, but this footage is courtesy of Sarnetta Studios. He recently interviewed the new incarnation of Nature Boy, which is named 3 God. I'll just say that, and I'll play a little bit. But go ahead, Schoolboy. Go ahead, continue talking.
But yeah, man, like it's just like other people on the show have been saying, it's cult behavior. And then when you start to hear the reports and the details, he's administering punishment. I think one of the things that he was telling people was that is that they receive information through their rectum, and stuff
they receive information through semen in their rectum or something.
There we go. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, stuff like that, like just misinformation that there's information that you can receive through your rectum and semen, but I don't know how much knowledge that's going to be.
Well, he also had a bunch of boys rubbing his feet. Lorvell says there's a little footage of that, courtesy of Sarnetta Studios. This is good. This for research purposes. All right, research.
Yeah.
Purposes. All right.
Feet, bro, your feet, bro. You need a professional masseuse, bro. Stop being through the toes do the toes. Yeah, squeeze the toes. Right there on it. I know, and I'll be laughing at myself from your perspective.
This is a different person, though. He might have multiple personalities.
This is my secret life. This is how I live my life without the camera, bro. That ass. I know y'all niggas laughing at me, but I'm dead serious. Everybody say they're the guy, but they don't have none of this going on. This is real life going on. Like, this is not fake, bro. These niggas been following me since back. How long you been following me, bro? 4 years. How much money you give me? Come here.
This is sick.
You getting your knee right there?
This is sick.
Tell him.
Probably gave maybe about 30 now. Probably about 30,000.
30,000?
Yeah.
30,000?
What?
Give or take.
This is sad.
How much you gave?
and
About 20,000?
Up to this point, about $20,000.
$20,000. Yeah. And you gave about 30. Mm-hmm. You ain't even give me shit, nigga. But if you had it, how much would you get? If you won the lottery right now.
The whole thing.
No, seriously. Y'all don't understand.
Senator,
If you want, come here.
spend time with this man.
How much money you gave me, bro?
Probably about 78,000.
Oh my God.
70, 80,000. And you don't did a lot for me. If you was to win the lottery right now, would you give it to me?
It's your family.
Would you give it to me though?
Absolutely.
Fuck the family, nigga. Would
Three.
you do it for me?
Absolute 3.
If I said family,
Absolute 3.
you coming with me?
Absolute 3.
It's gonna be who?
Me and you.
That's it.
Absolute 3.
You saying that like you scary, like, oh, you just the attention, you nervous about the attention coming up. This is very embarrassing, ain't it, a little bit? It is in a way, because people gonna look at you and look at you crazy, and I can feel that y'all nervous about people looking at us coming out about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, huh?
It's not real.
What?
The camera, the whole.
Yeah, but I can feel how it could be a little bit uncomfortable because you know your family's gonna see this and we coming out. So
wait a minute. No.
All right, so my panel, feel free to unmute yourselves. That was Sarnetta after he interviewed 3 God, aka Nature Boy. He decided to, I guess it didn't go right, and then in that moment he decided to cam him down and show the video of him basically brainwashing and financially abusing the male followers, but they were really more concerned about his female followers, right? So if you remember the court case, they spoke about the case that he now has. They spoke about disgruntled former member, as they put it. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but they're saying the former member is disgruntled, and that former member is the person that used to be, I think, like a queen in the cult or something like that, and they made her fight on the beach with the woman who is now who he considers his queen. So for researcher purposes, we're gonna let you see what that's about. All right. So they're playing some type of music. I don't necessarily know what it is, so I don't want to get flagged. But this is him orchestrating some type of tribune fight between the wives, because he has allegedly multiple wives, even though I'm sure it's not official. They're just women that live with him. But I believe one of these women is the one who is now pressing charges. All right, Step, you off? You off? There you go. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. All right. So I'm not seeing much from this video right now.
They about to scrap. They just on a little break. They about to scrap. That's
okay.
Like, you remember that scene in Black Panther where they was fighting? It's basically that right now. Yeah.
No, okay, man. It's as sad as it is. It might not be no charges against him.
That's what I was thinking. I think a lot of people, I see some people in the chat saying, Lord Vel said, I'm happy he's locked up and everything. The thing is,
that shit ain't gonna stick.
I don't see it sticking. All of the shit he's doing is wrong. That's wrong, having women fight and all of that, which they grown. It is their choice to fight each other, right? But it's not going to stick. It's not. They're charging him for the wrong shit. They better off charging him for taxes on that money that I'm sure he didn't fucking pay taxes on, that all them dudes was giving him. They better off doing some shit like that. But Steph, I ain't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, bro.
No, you didn't cut me off. Somebody said this dude had. I think the woman in the video said he has multiple personalities, and I think
he has.
Be onto something.
He's Nature Boy. one moment, and then he's a guy named Three God the next. Now he's another character named Three God.
Right, right. So, in the United States, if you put anything up, if you register anything up under a religion, you
Mm-hmm.
can pretty much do any damn thing.
Right.
We've seen this going with Catholic churches, right? So, with no, no real repercussions.
Right. And Slim just said that too. He considered that loot as donations, no taxes, but he still has to do that right paperwork, right?
Right.
So, I mean, he may or may or not have some people in his camp that is good with that type of shit, but his camp is looking a little suspect to me. I'm not really giving him the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying?
And I listen, I don't really want to be on no gay shit, bro. I don't want to talk about no gay shit today, but I know he fucking them niggas, man. I
Oh, he
know he
definitely fucking them boys, man.
fucking them niggas, man. This is sad.
I mean, he got them rubbing his feet, talking about get the toes and all this crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. You already know. And it's you know, and yes, this is courtesy of the Black 102 News, Black News 102. I do want to play just the intro he did to this interview. He did this grandiose intro. He walked down the steps. I just kind of want to give you guys a scope in case you haven't really understood who Nature Boy is. It seems like a lot of you are hip, but I just want to give you a kind of scope of, this guy's theatrics, So as you can see here, you got the neo soul trip hop, whatever that shit playing. You know what I mean? Coming down the steps, in his robe. This is Three God right here. This is his other personality, Three God. You heard, Step?
Yeah, I see what he's getting into.
Yeah, so and then he eventually sits down and have them screaming a bunch of obscenity, excuse me. He got them screaming a bunch of chants and callbacks and all of this and shit that we don't understand that only they understand. And I think at one point of this interview, the sister is trying to get him to talk about the abuse, and of course he doesn't talk about the abuse. He denies the allegations, and he ends up tongue kissing all of the women around him. But the thing about that, I just want to go on a record and say, those women behind him that he also kissed, a lot of them do look pretty young. I just want to go on a record and say that. RSB Sokoja says the money was gifted and he has evidence of it, the fact on the video. So the thing about gifting though is when it comes to taxes and all that shit, you can get gifted. I want to say, and I'm not a lawyer, I want to say it's like 10,000, right? But the numbers that were being quoted were way above 10,000, right? You had one guy say he did, what did he say? I think the homie put it in the chat. One guy said a 30K, another said 20, another said 80. You know what I mean? And that shit most likely was like drug money or some wild shit. So I don't think the whole gifting shit is going to work when he probably had upwards $100K plus dollars in donations. I don't think he's going to be able to use that argument. But at the same time, that's not what they got him for. What they got him for is this right here, right? So, which they do have video evidence of. Also, Sonetta did show this after his second interview with him, where he basically looked like a little domestic dispute with him and one of the alleged wives, and she left because they told her you can leave, and she did leave, but it looked like she didn't want to go, and that's the same female who's actually pressing charges right now. Let's watch this really quick.
tell the cameraman to come on. Watch this. See? Right there. Listen. Calm the fuck down. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Watch, he put the camera on her because he wanted to embarrass her and disrespect her. And he think that this right here
is manly.
All women to come and say, oh yeah, he's God. He's a real God. Watch how he tell the cameraman, come on. Listen.
I don't like me.
Shut up. Hey,
If I don't need to leave me down. Come on, bro. Leah, why are you doing this?
Let her take it down. There you go.
No,
Did y'all see that? Did you see it?
Yeah, Leah, why are you doing this?
Let her take it down. Listen.
Bad.
That's what I'm doing. Bye. Get the fuck out. Leave. Leave. Let her leave. Don't come back in. Go.
What is going on?
That's her bad luck.
Wait, hold on.
Let her go. Listen. Let her go.
Watch her have a nervous breakdown.
So yeah, that's them letting her leave, telling her to leave. You know, it sounded violent, but you didn't really see anybody get boxed on camera or anything of that nature. But that's the sister who's pressing charges. And no doubt she's gonna probably tell them whatever they want to know, whether, you know, it's all true or factual. I'm sure she don't need to make up much. I'm sure that they do have a lot of, you know, weird shit going on in there. But, you know, how much of it is illegal? I'd be curious to know the ages of some of those women in that house. That's what I'd be curious to do. I think if they're going to get him on anything, it's going to have to be whether his paperwork is right with his so-called cult and or church or whatever it's supposed to be, and you know, and the money's associated with it, or child, you know, statutory rape and things of that nature. Right, that's the only two things I can, because a bunch of grown people giving you money and giving you ass, you know, that shit ain't necessarily illegal, right? Schoolboy, what's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he probably, it seems like this is one of those people who abuses people indirectly. So, you know, he's going to create a situation where they're impoverished and they have to kind of depend on those people around them to eat and be able to move the way that they need to move to get things done. And, you know, then he can tell them like, hey, you know, I know you're broke and I done took all your money. So now you need to fight until somebody draws some blood for my entertainment. And they're going to do it. You know, they're under a certain level of mind control at the moment, you know?
Right.
And the other thing about it is this: if the feds actually indict this dude, they're not just indicting him for fun. They're not doing these investigations for fun. You know, even if the state police are pressing charges on this dude, he's probably gonna go to jail. I feel like he's given us enough evidence. I just watched a video of him, you know, telling a woman, "I give you all this attention, and you don't seem grateful," and telling another woman smacked the hell out of her. And he was like, well, you know, I feel like, you know, if you letting another woman slack you, you deserve it because you wanted that, right? Because you can leave at any time, but you decided to stay even after she slapped you. You know, they making jokes about how she just got slapped in her face.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Hey, a serious question. So in that fight, was the new trans one of the people fighting for the love?
Nah.
No, I think the his trans wife came later.
Okay.
Trans wife came later. So this is episode 5 of the Morning Rant. I had the wrong ticker going on at the bottom there. Just wanted to say that really quick. Salute to everybody who's in the chat. I do want to show another clip of this particular interview he did with Sonetta Studios. It's a really interesting interview with the other personality. It definitely gives us more insight into his behavior. And like Schoolboy said, you know, there's video of him out there making women fight and, you know, things of that nature. So Sonetta and a sister named Napa, I believe that's Sonetta's wife, they asked him about that, and this was his response.
Bring it to me. Calm down.
So he was so distraught. He needed one of his wives to breastfeed him mid-interview, is what you're watching right now. You're not seeing any nipple or anything like that, but that's what you just witnessed, right? So that was one of his responses. And his rant why follows. For research purposes.
I can't play with this. I can't. I know what they're thinking and it's making me laugh, but it's serious, man. It's just serious, man. Black men need to breastfeed. Black men need to breastfeed. That's all I was doing that for, to let y'all know. I breastfeed. That's how I healed myself. Breast milk, nigga. They tell you about all these herbs, all this shit. Nigga, breast milk. You gonna heal all your genetics, nigga. Breast milk the whole time. We drinking almond milk. We need to be drinking human milk. That's the...
All right, you lost connection, brother. Let's get it back. Let's get it back.
And marijuana. The fuck? Breast milk, marijuana, water, sleep. That's all you need. You can become God. I swear to God.
All right, so that was one of his responses. To get emotionally distraught and drink some breast milk. Schoolboy, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, man. This dude is gonna he might be able to plead insanity, but I think because I'm seeing more and more of former members of Carbon Nation, the name of his code. I'm seeing more and more members of that, female members saying that they're willing to speak out. I want to see who the male member is who comes out and says, I'm ready to testify, because I think that's going to also be pretty telling. I think ultimately it looks like he's one of those people who rules through intimidation. And I mean, here's another aspect of these cases that I see.
I breastfeed. That's how I healed myself. Breast milk, nigga.
My fault, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Like, I think another aspect of this that we should see through is, like, you know how I know in the past I wonder how it was that people just stayed in slavery, and it was like five black people, you know, in this one or a few white people that they could have just killed and got the heck on, you know, and we're watching how that happens. Like, you're seeing him use other cult members to discipline other cult members. You know, you're seeing him deify himself and make him kind of an untouchable factor in this religion that he's created around himself, you know. So if you want to see how slavery was possible and how it was a choice, this is a good example of that.
Fair enough, man. It's a good assessment. Steph, what's your thoughts, man? Breast milk, nigga. What's your thoughts?
He has a good point, actually. If there are some new mothers, big-breasted new mothers in the chat, please do not hesitate to contact me at Steph Got Jokes on all platforms.
Breast milk, nigga. Steph, you trying to get some Cambodian breast milk?
I'm trying to be a god.
He said, but you gotta smoke weed too. He said breast milk. He said breast milk and water. I know you don't smoke, man. You got, he said you need the cannabis too. Yeah. Breast milk, cannabis.
He said he said you'll become a guy. I swear to God.
He did.
Hold on. If you a guy, who are you swearing to?
Oh, he definitely did say that shit. I swear to God. All right, man. Just or Love says, where's Miss Ravioli with the abuse quotes? Ours Beats and Culture said, if y'all believe he has multiple personalities, then it's not fit to stand trial for any charge that may be pending. That's a good point as well. Virginia Sims says, so why are they nodding like they agree with what he's saying? I don't know. I don't know if that's part of, Sanetta's interview tactic to kind of make you comfortable. I mean, in the first interview he did with his, split personality, 3 God, alter ego, whatever you want to call it. You see Sanetta actually clapped as he came down the steps. He actually was clapping for him. So I don't know, but at the same time, he had to know what his line of questioning was. So maybe giving Sonetta the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was just getting dude comfortable so he can ask him the questions that he wanted to ask. And sorry for having you up there, Steph, while I was just talking. That wasn't Steph got jokes talking on that one. This is another reaction he had when asked about the abuse of women. We definitely got to play this because I think it's kind of telling as well. All right.
The woman I have with me?
Yes, sir. Do I have to show video footage to remind you, brother?
Yo, am I being investigated?
Sounds like an interrogation to me.
Yo, niggas
Yeah, it
sound
is
like
an
police
interrogation.
to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being investigated.
You are.
I gotta be being punked right now. Niggas is asking me questions cops ask you, right? Hey, yo, son, y'all niggas is trying to set me up. Yo, y'all the feds? Really? Y'all wearing wires? Yo, my man, you wearing a wire?
We're calling for the psychology.
Oh!
Play the video, Sonetta.
Yo, y'all making me feel
Please,
like
King.
I feel
Please,
like
King.
I'm being interrogated or something. Nah, but go ahead. Ask me another question, officer.
So I don't know. I think that was a little telling to me. What's your thoughts, Steph? Y'all trying to set me up?
So this ain't his first run-in with the police, and this isn't the first time he's been close, to jail. So,
right.
So they probably been building a case for years at this point, right?
No.
So,
No,
they haven't. You don't think they have been?
No, I don't. I honestly don't think they have been. I think it's possible that he's on the list. You know what I'm saying? He's on their list, but I don't think they've been necessarily building a case per se. They've been letting this nigga run wild, man.
Yeah.
And it wasn't till the disgruntled member left that they're even pressing these charges, right?
That's the thing. When you have a solid cult and there's nobody on, you can't really break it up if everybody is all on one accord.
Right. But what the government would do to some shit like this, right, if they felt it was a threat, is they'll infiltrate it. You know what I'm saying? They'll have somebody in that motherfucker, taking notes and asking you to do shit that you shouldn't be doing. And
that nigga who gave 78,000 and gave his butt up was probably a cop.
It's very possible. It's very possible. I want everybody out there who's watching, who's listening to this part of the show right now, I want you guys to watch a movie called The Day Shall Come. It's available on Hulu, and it documents how they'll infiltrate a non-threatening organization, that may or may not have some wild beliefs. And even if they're peaceful, they'll basically give you the tools to get yourself locked up. They'll give you the weapons. They'll give you the money. They'll give you the tools to get yourself locked up. So I think it's very possible that one of those guys that gave a large sum of money and possibly his ass.
And also, I just want to give a shout out to these undercover cops, because they be putting a whole asshole on the line just to crack a case.
Yo, my man, he really did press his mans though too. He said, "Yo, my mans, you wearing a wire? My mans." Maybe that nigga really was wearing a wire the whole time. But all right, this is the last clip I do want to play on this guy, and then we're gonna move on as he explains his godhood. I think this is a pretty interesting one right here. All right, so let's play this right here. His alleged godhood. Let's go.
All right, he froze.
God! Chief! 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 And see, then our woman didn't disrespect us because, why? There was no one else but us to protect her. So there was a different mindset. And our woman would never think in her mind to ever cross her chief, because she knew that her chief protected and provided for her. And she would betray her chief. Oh! Take his child. If a woman disrespect a chief, we eat her. We eat her, not abuse her. Eat her. You come to our tribe and you betray the chief. Oh, if white supremacy wasn't here, we would feast. Yeah, it's because we're cats. You see that? I'm a panther. That's what the fuck I am. We're all cats. Every one of us. All of you. You come from Egypt and you're all cats. All you black people. All you gay people. You know the feminine shit? All of that shit is just cat. It's cat. It's catty. It's cat, nigga, because you a cat. This is me. This is you.
Which brings us back to the original point. He believes that being that he's a cat and black people are cats, and that is also why and everybody's gay. I think he believes everybody's gay. So Just One Love says I have to come to the conclusion that they all on some very hard drugs. Hey, listen, people believe what they want to believe, yo. You know what I'm saying? Some people literally be high off life, for real, for real.
Be calling themselves
Hey, what did
So
that
is
nigga
that why you
African
treat them
accent
with
go?
like that? Because you feel that they are your
I
enemy,
am
son?
a chief. Even if white supremacy is here, I am still a chief. I do not care. You will not disrespect me.
Steph, you say what you say?
That nigga African accent be just coming in and out. It's like you a nigga from Atlanta. Where did you get an African accent from? Nigga,
Hey,
you was a
listen,
barber.
that shit ain't even no African accent. That's some like shit he learned from television. You know what I'm saying? That's some old like
That nigga, he thought he was in
It's
Wakanda
a
for a
bad
second.
accent too. Right. It is a Wakanda. It's definitely giving you Chadwick Boseman.
they had better accents than that. Don't disrespect Wakanda like that, man. They have better accents than
He
that,
got a
man.
Wakanda
I mean, some
accent.
of the people some of the people in that movie actually have accents. Like they were legit African.
Right.
Chadwick
Yo,
Boseman does not have an accent. And it was obvious he was I would never freeze. It was clear he was making a voice. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of accent was that?
The drums. It was the drums.
Hey, Just What Love says, are we not going to reference that they were using Illuminati symbolism? We're not, sister. We're not. Because we're not, because that's not what it was. You know what I mean? That's not Illuminati symbolism for real, for real. What that is, what you see them throwing up, that shit is something actually called and I don't want to pronounce it wrong, madras, right? I'm looking it up right now. Buddhist madras. I'm gonna put it on the screen, right? And the madra is a Sanskrit word that means symbolic hand gesture that has the power of producing joy or happiness. So, you know, in a lot of cases, you know, guys like this like to take, you know, culture from every type of culture and then merge it and then say and give it to people who don't know any better. And, you know, so it's not really some Illuminati shit. it might, serve to scare people or entice people like he's really down with some shit. But
I don't
it's
know. Jay-Z might have his hands in this. He might be involved with this shit. What?
allegedly. Keenan Khan says, I remember this young bummy
I'm
dude.
joking.
This young bummy dude always had 3 or 4 chicks with him when he worked at the game store in my early 20s. I found out that all of them were his girlfriends, and he was running a mini cult. He had all of them pregnant at one time. Wow. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you talk that shit, you know what I mean? They don't care about the bread per se. He probably housed them in like some type of slum situation, and they accepted that, and yeah. But Just One Love says, okay, let me know something. And Archbeast Culture put how you say it. That's exactly how it's spelled. So if you want to look it up, there it is. So yo, really, I wanna move on. There's a lot of people going to jail. Some getting the sentences they deserve, some not. In sidebar, the subway shooter who we spoke about. I do want to recant something we said on the last episode. We said he got caught before he got caught due to a faulty tweet from a verified person, journalist on Twitter. He got caught later, as you know. The guy the subway shooter, actually called the cops on himself. He was walking down Manhattan, just eating McDonald's and shit. Called the cops on himself. So it sounds crazy, you know what I mean? Just like I was saying the other day, I just would urge people, some people are already coming out saying they don't believe it happened. Some people are saying they don't believe he did it, or he might be a plant. Some people are saying that the whole thing is fake, right? Whatever you believe, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. Whatever you believe, I just want us to not claim this dude's actions as some shit of reverence. I know some of us have we like to go against the grain, like on social media and things like that. We might see one person post blue and then we're gonna post red or whatever in the effort to be objective or whatever. But let's definitely not, we shouldn't be favoring this dude at this point, because I feel like even if it is fake, because some people feel it's fake, it's not to take guns away, it's to make black men the face of terrorism. You know what I'm saying? To me, that would be the obvious plot of why they would, run this the way they are. So anyway, but yo, I just want to say this really quick. When he called the cops, he said he was charging his phone at McDonald's. Yo, Steph, what the fuck was he charging his phone for, bro?
Hey, that's hilarious. I thought that nigga was at a bodega getting a Snapple or something.
This nigga
I didn't realize he was really in the McDonald's using a Wi-Fi
and charging his fucking phone. He probably was watching our show that morning. You know what I'm saying?
Like that nigga, he was like, "Ha, that nigga John Logic crazy."
Yeah, he probably was watching YouTube on McDonald's Wi-Fi, looking at all the news and shit, everybody talking about him. Anyway, so but what I wanted to say, really why I brought it up, is because the real full circle moment is this. He got arrested on April 13th. Nature Boy got arrested on April 14th. He made a video about Nature Boy himself. One of his rants, and they since took his YouTube down, was about Nature Boy and how hopefully Nature Boy doesn't hurt those women and etc. and what needs to happen to Nature Boy. And he got arrested before Nature Boy. The day before Nature Boy got arrested.
Wow.
He didn't even get to enjoy it. Archbeast Culture says, so he could say in communication with his FBI handler. Using McDonald's Wi-Fi charging his phone to stay in touch with his handler is hilarious. Better Minds Interrupting Podcast says, good morning, family, peace and blessings. Good morning to you.
Good morning. And, he gonna Kegel that phone. He gonna kiss that phone.
It Just What Love says, I learned so much from y'all. Thank you. No, thank you for pulling up. We appreciate you. So, yo, I kind of want to speak about another situation. Well, there's a lot, but you know what? I'm gonna skip through some because I don't know how long we got Schoolboy here, and I know Schoolboy wanted to talk about this one particular situation for a while. Schoolboy, you there, brother?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, I don't know how long we got you, so I'm gonna skip to this one story. Ed Buck, man. Can you give us a quick breakdown on that guy, Ed Buck, at the corner of the screen right there?
Yeah, so Ed Buck is a rich Democratic donator, sponsor of the Democratic Party, and for some reason, black LGBT people, some might even say sex workers, are ending up dead and overdosed at Ed Buck's house, his apartment. And
Right.
Ed Buck, I think right now is currently under trial.
Well, I'm gonna get to that part. I want you to
Yeah.
just break down what he did. Tell us. I want Schoolboy to break down what Ed Buck did, man.
Yeah, so Ed Buck has kind of become a joke in the conscious community through Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed always references, the ills of going that route. Being an LGBT sex worker who's working with these weird white dudes, because a lot of people end up dead messing with these dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And Ed Buck is one of those people. Like he's professed to other friends and things like that, according to some reports allegedly, that he has talked about how he likes to get men inebriated to the point where they lose control and take advantage of them.
So really quick, I'm gonna read this quote from KTLA website. So they start off the article by saying, even after 2 men were found dead in his California apartment, Ed Buck did not stop injecting gay men with walloping doses of methamphetamine. Continue.
Right. And he's getting coverage from like leaders, because like Democratic leaders, because he donates to them. And so they're not, they gave him the kitty gloves. 'Cause I mean, I'm right now I'm in a hotel room. If I was in a hotel room and somebody ended up dead in here, I don't just get to go home.
Right.
Somebody done overdosed on meth and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, well, then again, but it seems like those Democratic folks, they get different rules, and I just laugh a little bit because I'm thinking about is his name Andrew Gillum, who got caught up?
Yep.
Yeah, Andrew Gillum got caught up. Who got caught up in the room? Who got caught up in the room with the
2 gay dudes?
Yeah, with his friends, and they done
gay
took
white
pictures
dudes.
of him. They done took pictures of him passed out, all with no clothes on,
ass
and,
tooted up.
Yeah, and they got they socks off, and it's like, bro, what is going on right now? But Andrew Gillum got to go home and freshen up before he came back to the cameras. I don't know, man.
That's because he the one who overdosed. It was.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Andrew Gillum is the one who did overdose.
But yeah, back to Ed Buck. Ed Buck, Ed Buck is getting away with this, and this is what I'm about to say too.
Wait. He's not necessarily getting away with it all the way, because I'm gonna read the sentencing part, right? But go ahead.
Oh, he got sentenced.
But go ahead.
Nice. Yeah. But my point is that like these folks are getting away with this type of stuff because the authorities are not taking it seriously. When all of this evidence is coming out, that these people might be dangerous. Like when you have people leaving, Ed Buck's house, and they're like, "Hey, man, it's like a house of horrors over there. This dude's crazy." They're not taking these people seriously. They got to take these folks a little bit more seriously,
right?
Regardless if they're Democratic shills or not, man.
Right. Well, I'm going to read the rest of this part of the article. A federal judge on Thursday sentenced him to 30 years in prison in the deaths of Jamel Moore and Timothy Dean. Another man, Dane Brown, was repeatedly injected by Buck, but survived, and his harrowing account of being revived twice finally led to Buck's arrest in 2019. What I want to ask you is, do you think 30 years is enough for Ed Buck? At this point, he's a serial killer.
I was just about to say that, bro. And let's really dive into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what is his real name? Because Buck is a nickname. What is his real name? And how did he get the nickname Buck? Huh? It's probably what he's known for.
Is Ed Buck really a nickname?
What?
Is
Buck his last name?
Yeah, I think Ed Buck.
Oh, okay. If his last name is different. I'm about to say, nigga don't be first name Buck. All right.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Nah, but you know, I just thought about Kill Bill. Remember this guy's name was Buck. My name's Buck, and I like the that was the tagline.
Hey, but Schoolboy, answer the question. Do you think 30 years is enough?
And this man looks like he's dead now. Him and Joe Biden are twins. Like he's old. That 30, he's gonna die in prison if he does 30 years or anything close to 30 years. But I don't know. Is this the same kind of 30 years like they gave Jussie Smollett like a couple weeks in jail and let him out after 2 days? So he might be sentenced to 30 years. They go, oh, you know what?
They figure it out.
Coronavirus is surging, so you get to go back home.
Right.
You know.
I don't think 30 is enough. I think I don't care how old he is. I think they should give this nigga double life or some wild shit like that. You know, like Richard Pryor said, that means if a nigga die and come back to life, he gotta go back to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they need to make it final, right? I feel like 30 years is just and they don't even mention if he's gonna have the right to go for parole or anything like that. So you know the nigga's gonna have good behavior. What the fuck you gonna do to anybody in prison, right? So, like, listen, man, I think it's a slap on the wrist, even though it sounds like life and he's old and frail. I get that. The dude definitely looks old and frail, but I don't think it's enough. I think it's grounds for him to get out of there in his 70s or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. He's supposed to that's what's supposed to happen. I think justice was served here. 30 years for an old man like that, it's over with. He don't have no more life left.
Man, get that nigga the chair, man. Stop wasting our taxpayer dollars.
But
Or that. He's a serial killer. Serial, huh?
That's expensive too.
All right, fair enough. All right, so I want to
no, not really.
I want to read this. Go ahead, stop.
No, I was gonna say just shoot him in the back of the head. Save us all some time, but whatever.
They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do no firing squad shit. And we gotta relax. YouTube jail's right around the corner for us always. Speaking of that, tomorrow is not promised on YouTube for us. So we just want y'all to sign up to the rantisunion.com. You know what I mean? So you can always stay in touch with us and we always have a place to broadcast because YouTube is for sure not promised to us. And also follow us on Clubhouse. We got a club there called the Ranters Union. Hit us up on iRant Network on Facebook as well as Twitch. And make sure you subscribe to our other YouTube page as well. Redemption Song 76 says he should have been made an example of. I agree. And she says, but that was a life sentence if upheld. I just fear that they won't uphold it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why they give certain people sentences where they say, oh, with no possible parole, or they give people double life sentences. And you know what I mean? That's what that shit means. It's like, yo, what's going to happen is you're not coming out. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like they put that period at the end of the sentence. Granted, that dude could die in jail. He's old and frail and all that, but I just don't think they put the period at the end of the sentence. And with good behavior and coronavirus and old age and all that, I feel like someone like him could end up back home in his old age. You know what I'm saying? Older age. Redemption Song also says South Carolina has firing squads now. Wow, I didn't know that. And Keenan Khan says Steph sounded like an old white man from Florida.
Listen, it's certain kind of, like, I wouldn't say that about 99.9% of crimes, but like serial killers and pedophiles,
Right.
what are we doing?
Right. I get it. So, yo, I want to talk about this brother right here. He's you see the other guy on the other side of the screen right there. This is an artist by the name of Cash Out, right? I want to talk about his case, and I want to be a little edgy right here and a little objective with it because something, even though it seems cut and dry, doesn't sound right to me, right? So I'm going to read the article. This article comes to us from, CBS 46. According to Fulton County Sheriff Office, an Atlanta-based rapper known as Cash Out is facing several charges, including rape, sex trafficking, and luring women into prostitution. Cash Out, aka John Michael Hakeem Gibson, reportedly used the allure of his fame. He's not famous, and a company that he started with his four brothers, Prize Music Group, LLC to recruit young women for a litany of acts, including commercial sex activity. The indictment involving the case states that the victims were promised power, benefits, and upward mobility within the company if complied with the sexually explicit work environment that the Gibson brothers created at their workplace. To make matters worse, the Fulton County Deputy District Attorney Enero Winfrey has indicated that Cash Out used his stature as a celebrity, he's not a celebrity, to pursue the victims into a life of prostitution as well. They quote Winfrey saying, "We rescued 2 sex workers so far. Some of these women are our most vulnerable women, and he lured them in, let them believe that he cared about them and that he would take care of them, only to flip the script and then begin to pimp them out." Cash Out is said to have been the mastermind behind the organization in question. He now faces 13 counts, which include racketeering, human trafficking, rape, aggravated sodomy. Therefore, a 31-year-old rapper is the primary focus of the 41-count indictment that was handed down in late March. Nevertheless, Cash Out and his 4 brothers aren't the only assailants linked to the case. Other defendants listed in the indictment are Linda Smith, aka Morenica Vine, and Mama Cash Out. Mama Cash Out can be seen on this video that we're playing right here. This is the oldest lady with the blue hair, I believe. That's Mama Cash Out, which by the name, I want to assume that's possibly his mother. I'm not sure. So Mama Cash Out, Kiera Danielle Adams, aka Boots, Tyrone Orlando Taylor, aka Ruski, and Demetrius Lamont Edwards, aka Drama. Step, I hope you was following me because I'm gonna go to you first. What do you think about some of these charges that they gave him? Right. So they said sex trafficking, rape. Rape is obviously rape. They didn't mention if it was statutory rape. So they're not like they said. I think at one point they said impressionable women or young women, but they never said underage women. So obviously rape is rape, but sex trafficking, and they literally said in luring women into prostitution. All right. What's your thoughts on this situation?
Okay, so this is the thing about being a pimp. I don't know if I said this on this show, if I said it somewhere else, but it's to be a pimp it has such a it's you don't just get charged for being a pimp anymore. Now they're charging you for human trafficking. They're upgrading all his charges. They think for whatever reason the men in the pimp in the sex working is the real problem. Whatever. I honestly think this should be a legal thing. It sounds like he has a business structure. He promised these women's upward mobility in his company. What more do you want? A 401k? It the rape thing. Now I don't know if that's felonious.
Right.
Because
like if it's like
you're
we
working with sex workers.
Right. You're breaking up a little bit. All right, so while Steph gets back into civilization, Schoolboy, and Steph, soon as you got service, just cut back in.
Yeah, man. So the question again is
what do you think about these charges, man? They're saying that he lured women into prostitution.
This isn't this is an interesting development, honestly, because he's not the only person who's kind of having similar allegations or sexual allegations towards him. You basically using celebrity to lure women. Because I think there was the guy who played in Superfly who's recently brought up on charges as well.
Okay.
And it seems, and I mean, I've been in Atlanta before. Some dudes do that. Like they're like, yeah, I can make you a star, and girls are falling for that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Isn't that the age-old story?
Yeah, and it seems like women would be like hip to the game by now, but obviously, or some women, I should say all women, but
right.
So, But you know what? Then again, you got to also realize that these type of people have a predator mentality. So they see somebody in a weakened state and they pounce on them.
Okay.
You know, and so that's what I think we're seeing too.
But is it possible because it's not known, but something that I've heard before from people who like were in the street life and all of that. Something I heard growing up is that sometimes, especially in places like New York, now Atlanta is probably not like New York, but places like New York where pimping isn't even that common. You feel what I'm saying? Like you might have prostitution, but not necessarily pimping, right? Pimping is almost seemed to be a thing of the past and is pretty strong certain places, but not others. You know, it might be still strong and maybe in a place like Oakland or Detroit, but not necessarily strong in a place like I said, New York, right? With that being said, there was stories I would hear where sometimes the hoe would make the pimp, is what I'm trying to say, right? So you know, a female might see a guy who she thinks can protect her or has the connections or just even has a vehicle, right? And kind of like turn him into like, okay, they'll phrase it as I want you to protect me, right? But so I'm not saying that's the case here, but I'm saying that we don't know the case here, right? Like, could it not just been some women out there who's already selling their ass for cash and or fame that decided to get with his movement, and he thought being young and black and ignorant, thinking like, yeah, let's allow that shit to happen. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it sounds like Kim and Kanye, but nah, man. I think that it's very possible that that's the case. That it's possible for a woman to make a pimp. However, in the case where we have these celebrities, they're definitely influencing these women, and that's the issue. Like you're supposed to have certain levels of distance between you and your fans. You're not supposed to be sitting there like influence them to buy your music, yes, but not influencing them to sell pussy for you and bring you back money, bro.
Fair
Like,
enough.
that ain't what you're supposed to be doing, and you get charges for stuff like that. Like if it would have been kind of the other way around, and the woman is a celebrity, he might have a leg to stand on. Like, well, she made me do it. You know, she told me if I didn't drive over there, she wasn't gonna give me money for pizza or whatever. You know. But that ain't the case, man. These dudes just set themselves, and I can't for the life of me really understand how you have the opportunity. Like if you make a song, bro, that's like printing money. You just got to get somebody to book you to sing that stupid ass song. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude Lil Nas X was running around here Old Town Road at people's schools.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
the song got drug use and everything in it.
Right.
You got a good point, man. You got a good point. You got to definitely, hold your business to a higher regards than that. So if you making moves and shit, and you want to downgrade your shit to, well, I'm gonna just be a pimp. You know what I mean?
Okay, cool. You know,
that's just as stupid as getting in the game and you still want to sell drugs.
Right. And I know people who have been. I know somebody who's been up on those kind of charges. Not a terrible human being, but at the same time, like you got caught slipping, fam.
Right.
Like that's what that is. And you gotta straighten that part out.
You know what, Schoolboy? What's bothering me is when I think about sex trafficking, I think about the shit that we need to be cracking down on more. Even like I'm talking about like these kidnappings and these missing girls and these underage children getting kidnapped and really sex trafficked and really forced into fucking slavery, basically sex slavery, that type of shit, and raised in an environment where that shit is normalized. So even when they old enough, they don't leave their capture and they still selling pussy for that nigga, right? To me, that's the shit that needs to be, that needs these charges and needs the manhunt. And even like the fucking what's the guy name with Gazane, and what's the nigga name? What's that dude name? Gazane Maxwell, and the dude she was working with that killed himself.
Oh yeah. Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein. Like these motherfuckers, and doing that shit in our face in the industry, even and all that with the children, bro. With the, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, where's the hammer for these niggas? You got this nigga who probably had a couple bitches who had an OnlyFans page or some shit. He probably, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And then somebody, you know, I don't know his situation. I don't know if the dude is innocent or not, or what his situation, but the way they just worded the article just left so much room for doubt, right? Because they're talking about, oh, he used his celebrity. This nigga's not a celebrity. He's just a nigga that rap that paid Gucci Man for a fucking feature. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but in Atlanta though, he's a celebrity, bro.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Atlanta, you know, cause remember that song Smoking on Keisha? Smoking on Keisha. That shit.
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah. Long story short, it was some regional bullshit. Regional music that people like.
Right.
And you know, it's basically a strip club banger.
All right, I can see that. But that still goes back to my thing. So what if he's one of these dudes with the strip club banger and shit, and he's hanging out with all these strippers and they selling pussy around him, and he like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, sell all the pussy you want around me, and I'm gonna utilize that whole scene to come up, and then boom, now you a master pimp and shit.
But hey, man, you play stupid games, man. You win stupid
prizes.
prizes. Yeah, and I mean, again, the feds are not able to lock you up just because you was around some niggas doing some crimes.
Right.
You know, they know that's not gonna stick. They're not gonna waste their time. By the time that they done brought your dumb ass in and took your mugshot of you,
yeah,
they're looking at pressing charge, and they don't lose. They don't lose. You're taking the plea deal, fam.
All right, yo, you got it. Great points. I just wanted to explore that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like, yo, are you guys trying to, you know, tell me this guy is guilty of having game? It's what started to sound like that for a minute. But
yeah, man, he gonna have to have a lot of game behind them bars too, man.
No, that actually that is what it sounds like. Sorry to just jump in like that. And the mama cash out, this Madam Cash Out, she got game too. She fine as a motherfucker. She probably be just using her womanly charm to lure these women in too. She got to get the gab. Her son damn sure got it.
Right. All of these
And I want to harken back to something you said earlier, Logic. He
Man.
ain't famous. He is famous. I know his song. That's Cash Out. Riding around with that Nina, smoking on, riding around with Keisha, smoking on Keisha. I remember that song. The song was actually called Cash Out. It was actually pretty popular.
Wait, how did Schoolboy know that shit and I didn't know it?
Bro.
Schoolboy don't listen to that shit.
Hey man, hey, I used to live in them streets, man, with these Negroes, you know, with this foolishness, and I had to pull back. I found myself sliding, man.
All right, man. All right. Listen. All right. So hold on. Keenan Khan says Atlanta is different. Logic. Most artists are celebrated no matter how long ago they were hits. Their hits were. Excuse me. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it missed me. I guess that shit missed me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can see why. If that was 10 years ago, y'all definitely know it missed me because I was too through with the ignorant shit 10 years ago. That's when I made Monkey Gang and shit. The documentary. I was too through. I wasn't listening to nothing else. I couldn't handle it. You know what I mean? But really quick, so we're going to move on to your man Cuban Gooding Jr. pleading guilty for forcible touching. The actor Cuban Gooding Jr., who has been accused by more than 20 women groping or forcibly kissing them in encounters that dated back more than 2 decades, pleaded guilty in Manhattan on Wednesday to 1 count of forcibly touching. The count, a misdemeanor charge that he forcibly kissed a woman at a nightclub in Manhattan in 2018. Under terms of the plea, Mr. Gooden must continue for 6 more months in alcohol and behavior modification treatment that he was been undergoing since 2019. That he has been undergoing since 2019, and he must have no new arrests. The Manhattan District Attorney office said. If he fulfills the term of his plea, he can then withdraw the plea and plead to a lesser charge of harassment and violation with a sentence of time served, the office said. Also, the record of the plea will not be sealed, the office said, which New York, they don't really seal shit anyway. What's your thoughts on this? Mr. Gooden he said he kissed a waitress on her lips. He said he apologized for ever making anyone feel inappropriately touched. And he's basically, He's basically just going to finish his therapy and stay out of trouble for 6 months, what they usually call ACD in New York. What's your thoughts on that, Schoolboy?
Hey man, I feel like I was at a club one time and Cuba Gooding Jr. touched me on my shoulder. That's what I feel like.
So you joining the class action? Is there a class action? Or
I think so. And I need my Cuba Gooding Jr. check.
Step, what about you?
You know, he's a serial toucher, right?
Right.
He's a serial toucher, and he's been getting away with touching, but he never goes beyond that, which is weird. He probably just need his ass whooped. So the ass whooping probably put him right back in line. Like, yeah.
That's all the
Think
therapy.
twice.
So the therapy he need. They said in 2018 he got charged with pinching a woman's bottom at a Manhattan nightclub in October.
Yeah, he a weirdo. He a weird toucher. He just need his ass whooped.
Hold on, man. Just for YouTube, just for the record.
Warning. The opinions expressed in this program are those of the presenter in their current state of mind, which they have the right to change at any given moment. The iRant Network and the members of the Ranters Union are not responsible for any claims made.
It's been a minute since we played that. I think that was overdue anyway. But
Man, I thought you was definitely gonna call it during Oh Boy.
It was, I definitely missed a lot of moments, but I'm gonna say I agree with you though. He just needs some real consequences. Like he definitely was just getting away with doing a bunch of, what I'm not gonna say that they didn't matter what he was doing, but I'm gonna call them like micro, sexual aggressions. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's also like people be drunk off their celebrity. We've seen Donald Trump say this out of his mouth.
mm-hmm.
You can just grab her by the pussy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they literally think.
We seen the baby do that shit the other day, right?
Oh, did we? Oh man, I did not see this.
You ain't see that?
Do we have a picture of Cuba Gooding Jr.? Our faces don't need to be up here for this creepy touch shit. Put his face up there.
All right, there you go. He's there with the Jester hat on right there for you, bro.
There you go.
Right next to Nature Boy.
Oh God. When you're in the same news cycle as Nature Boy, it's a bad day.
I mean, I ain't gonna front, man. I was looking for some like motivational shit for a Friday. I ain't gonna hold you. I just kept seeing people, go to jail. There's just a lot of people going to jail. You know what I'm saying? For similar shit too. For some reason.
We don't make the news, brother. I understand you want to. If it was up to us, we'd talk about some funny shit, inspirational shit all day.
Facts. We need to start. We need to find some of those stories though, because this shit get crazy. But I feel like even though we did still curate, some of the stories that need to be talked about. And speaking of that, I'm not going to scrutinize Cuba anymore. We're going to move on because we need to talk about this other guy who got sentenced, a young white boy, all right, by the name of, well, let me just read the article. The article is from Fox News, all right, foxnews.com. I'm going to share it on the screen. Give me a second. And this young guy actually seemed to get away with more shit than we saw any of these people get away with today. Let me see. Here we go. There we go. So this dude right here, a South Carolina teenager who was charged with 2 counts of first-degree criminal sexual misconduct for separate assaults in recent years, has sentenced to just 5 years of probation and will not have to register as a sex offender once that time is up. Circuit Judge Markley Dennis ruled on Friday. Bowen Turner, 19 years old, was facing charges for 2 separate incidents that occurred in October 2018 and June 2019. On Friday, struck a plea deal. The plea guilty to the first-degree assault and battery for the later incident and was sentenced under the Youthful Offender Act. So he got YO time is what they call it. If he has completed 5 years without any violations and has done all of the counseling necessary, then he will not have to register as a sex offender. Then it said Friday to audible groans from those attending the hearing. The victim in 2019 assault, Chloe Bess, said she was at a party with Turner and the others when Turner pulled her behind the truck at 3 a.m. and sexually assaulted her. Turner then pulled her pants and underwear off and forced himself onto the victim. Second Circuit Deputy Solicitor David Miller said in court. I think we read enough. Schoolboy, this man got 5 years on probation, sexually assaulting, as they say, which sounds a lot like rape to me. He pulled her pants down and sexually forced himself. They say he forced himself sexually on the victim. Sounds a lot like rape to me.
Yeah. They're gonna say mitigating circumstance. He ain't never been in trouble with the police. He don't have a traffic ticket. You know, we can't ruin his life. This, that, and the third. But you know what it is that in this country, and we'll step back to the Civil War report really quick. In this country, white men have been able to use sexual assault and rape as a weapon and not be charged for it, and not really find any criminal impact for it. And the justice system just lets it happen because look at him. He looks like a pervert, man. I'll just be honest with you.
He looks
I wouldn't
like
leave
he's
him alone like
smiling.
this.
He looks like he's smiling in the shot, knowing he's not going to jail.
Yeah. So you know, him spending any amount of time in jail would be disastrous for him. He's gonna get beat up. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have to figure out where he sits in the hierarchy of prisoners, and it's not gonna look good for him. You know, but obviously his people had enough money and enough influence in the courtroom to be able to walk out the courtroom. You know, this is the reason why, you know, in Africa, say what you want to say about Africa, but in Africa they got mob violence still. They still got mob violence. Like you act up out here in these streets, and you'll get dealt with out here in these streets. You know, and I kind of feel like America is kind of leaning in that direction again, only because people are not going to respect the courts if they keep doing stuff like this, and it keeps happening.
Right.
You know, and if people don't feel like they can get justice inside the court, and this is a terrible time for this country because we're seeing it at the highest levels. Even so let me explain. Ketanji Brown, right? She's going to be the new Supreme Court justice. She's also seen as being soft on crimes against children.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's actually what it is. When they press her and say, "Hey, why are you giving these people lesser sentences when it's up to your discretion to give them lengthier sentences?" She's just sitting back on, well, there were other mitigating factors. That sounds just like every other white person who lets these white people get off for brutalizing black people. They start talking about mitigating circumstances. You know, and that's what ends up happening here. This guy gets away with this. You know, even what was this guy's name? Brock Turner, who assaulted this young lady behind a trash dumpster in college, and she's drunk and passed out, and he's over here, assaulting her. Like,
right, that's his name. That's what we're talking about. Yep.
These folks. Man.
Bowen Turner is his name. Bowen Turner.
Yeah, so it just must be in the Turner genetics. That's how they get down. Because Brock Turner was somebody completely different.
Word? Because they said something similar. They say he pulled him behind a truck and all of this.
It was a dumpster, if I'm not mistaken. That Brock Turner.
Wow, you know what? I do remember that shit. But this is something that's a few years old too. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, but long story short, the criminal justice system is letting these folks do this because this is. Let me explain something though. This is the future that the white supremacists and these racist people want. A future in which they missed the boat. They didn't get to be slave owners, where they could just brutalize black people and other people based on the fact that they had all this money. So they're trying to bring a return to that. so they get to experience it 2.0. And I think what they don't realize is that, you know, we have information now. You were able to do that because people were destitute and they didn't have the knowledge to be able to free themselves mentally, first of all, from that type of oppression. Nowadays, you'll get shot doing stuff like that and stabbed up and disappeared. That's not going to work, you know, with most people. The only people you're going to be able to do that with it, like those people that we saw in that Cult with Nature Boy, the folks they're kind of predisposed to that. You know, they out here and dejected and you know, separated from their family. They don't have high self-esteem. You might be able to get away with that and nobody's going to say anything.
There's the guy you was talking about, Schoolboy.
Yep,
That's the other guy, Brock Turner. You're right. It's a whole separate Turner who definitely assaulted.
Fuck niggas.
Yeah, who assaulted an undergrad. But yeah, go ahead, Schoolboy. I mean, I just wanted to throw that up there.
No, yeah. So, long story short, from the Supreme Court all the way down, they're showing you if you have enough money and you're white enough, you can do whatever you want to do. You know, we'll give you but that's according to the guidelines that was set. So you're saying the guidelines that are set, and I hear you. That's what they kept saying. Like they lie. They sit here and present these things as if they make sense. And she just kept saying it over and over again like it made sense. But the other lawyers that were questioning her were like, okay, cool. Those are the guidelines that were set. And you can also charge these people for harsher punishment because it's up to your discretion. Why did you not utilize that discretion? And so she says, well, you know, I just according to the guidelines that you guys said, yeah, we set a guideline to say that the maximum sentence is 16 years. Why didn't you charge them 16 years? Well, I heard other mitigating factors. That's that bullshit. Because black people go into court with all kind of mitigating factors. Hey, y'all got lead poisoning. You know, my mom's on drugs, and I had to rob this store for some candy. Okay, cool. 20 years, you'll figure it out. Right. You know what I'm saying? So when a woman like Ketanji says that, all I hear is a Karen in her voice saying, I'm gonna let them off just like these other white guys have been letting them off because that's what people do in my position. That doesn't work to further the object of justice, and that's my issue. Like I'm not trying to give nobody no pass. If you're out here looking at and consuming crimes against children, I want you punished to the maximum penalty. I'm not trying to hear about mitigating factors. The mitigating factor is that you got investigated, that you got found to be having these things. The fact that you do community service does not matter to me at that point.
Right.
The fact that you've never been in jail before does not matter to me that anymore. The fact that it's only one picture and we only found one picture, and the other person over there has 7 gigs or 7 terabytes doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? And so I hear that guidelines conversation. It really irritates me because I heard her kept saying it, and I kept thinking to myself, yeah, that's a guideline. It's not a constitutional law. And she knows that.
It's literally just something. It's like a suggestion.
It's a memo.
Yeah.
It's a memo.
It's a
She could have just pressed delete on the memo and went to sentencing that ass. But she chose not to. And so in this whole thing, the other judges did it too. So what does that mean? Does that make it right?
Right.
Because like people had this thing where judges can't be wrong. Yeah, they can. Oftentimes they are, which is why people get all kind of appeals before they get really sentenced, and it sticks.
Steph, what's your thoughts, man? This guy got 5 years probation. He's probably gonna get some of that shit time served already since he's been going to court for so many years. What's your thoughts on that shit, man?
So let's understand what probation is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's your freedom with monitoring, with the
Right,
Lord checking in.
Yeah.
So nothing happened.
Yeah, in his case, nothing happened because the reason why black people don't like probation is because our communities are over policed, right? So you know
they will lock you up for anything. They got Meek Mills on a popping a wheelie. So yeah,
man. In my neighborhood, they used to lock us up in our buildings for trespassing, in our own buildings for trespassing.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, in his case, probation means nothing. I agree. But go ahead, continue.
So little Bowen here probably is gonna walk away, no issue. Um, I'm curious, what was the sentencing for Brock?
Let me go back to that. I don't think it was.
He got 6 months of he got a 6 month sentence, and I think he probably got out early.
So there's a pattern.
That's what I'm saying. Like the white boys get to rape people. That's what it is. They get to rape people and get away with it. Because if that would have been a black person, we're seeing it. Nature Boy got people willingly in his face, and the police was like, "Oh no, bro, go ahead and come in here. We're gonna raid your house and take your ass to jail." They didn't raid Brock Turner's house.
Right. Well, to be objective though, he didn't have a coat neither, though, right? But
he did have a coat. He had a coat in the courtroom. The judge was part of the cult that he was in. It's a cult of white supremacy.
Bars. All right. Step good.
Hey man, I don't want to go behind that, man. Well said, schoolboy. Well said,
schoolboy. Redemption says that's not my argument. Shouldn't the guidelines be revisited? It was said that she was consistent with 70% of her peers, which needs attention. So she's saying that like the guidelines themselves need to be revisited.
And I think that's fair. The guidelines may need to be revisited, but that's not an answer to the question that she was being asked at the time. She's sitting here talking about, well, that's the guidelines. Everybody else doing it. So what? Was that justice though? Was that appropriate for the crime? Was the real question. And she was deflecting it by saying the guideline. Well, I know that I'm the one who was in the courtroom and made the decision about the sentencing, but I'm going based off of what you guys said.
Right.
Like, and she's sitting here talking about guidelines. She ain't never say nothing about the law. Like, ain't nobody talking about the guidelines. Like, get the hell out of here.
Not to mention, she should have been the one to actually, go after the guidelines and the 70% of her peers herself, right?
Right. If you're seeing a pattern, where are your opinions that are saying, hey, I'm going to sentence this person into the maximum and let them go through the appeal process because I feel like the guidelines need to be changed. Do that.
Probably just want to be a good little nigga, and
that's what it is. And that's what it is. I feel like, and that's why I don't like her appointment at all, because I feel like they vetted her. They was like, okay, you're taking some pink meat. All right. Your social circle is mostly white people. Ain't no real black people in your circle. All right, cool, check. When it comes to, like I said, if we ever see the details of these cases, which I'm not really going to be searching real hard for it, but if the the news media comes out with the details of these cases and we find out that these were white criminals brutalizing black children, how are we going to feel about that?
That would be tragic.
That would be super tragic. And I feel like she's the type of person, just based on the stuff that I've seen and the way that she moves and the way she defends herself, I feel like she's the type of person who would sit there and make excuses for, oh, well, I didn't see it like that.
Right.
It's some people who just, when you approach them about racism, because they've had to sit in their minds in their quiet times and justify the racism that they're experiencing in their own personal lives, that extends to everything else that they do. They're always giving racist people and evil people the benefit of the doubt, because internally they have to, in their own spaces, they have to accept that type of abuse and racism in their own lives. And they have to justify it every single day when they look in the mirror. So of course they can't go into nobody's courtroom and figure it out or go against the grain in that respect.
Right. So those are dope last words. Redemption says she's a black woman. Good luck on figuring that out. She also says to be black and upwardly mobile in those circles, what do you really expect? And sometimes, all money ain't good money, and I'm using money as a metaphor. So sometimes if the circle is not good for you, then you don't need to be in it possibly, right? So it's like, you can't say you want to change the system from within and then get within and say, I can't change the system because I'm in the system. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have it both ways. So if she's a disruptor or someone that's going to, fight for justice, or you're not, you know what I mean? You got to choose a side, and you got to be willing to sacrifice. You know, gotta be willing to sacrifice your job, your title, you know, for what's right. And that's the people who always stand on the right side of history, if we're really going to be honest. The people who sacrifice for the greater good, you know what I mean? I.e. Muhammad Ali or somebody like that. You know, it may not be right, or I mean, I'm not going to say right. It may not be a popular decision in that time that person is making that decision. It may be something that they get penalized for, but history would tell that you was on the right side, right? So we got to keep going in that direction. Mr. Jones says you're being babysitted, but you're still free to walk around, not unless you're being on house arrest. Talking about the what probation means for that young rapist that we were just talking about. And I think we had a great conversation. We tried to keep it safe as possible and raw as possible at the same time. Please sign up to the ranchersunion.com because tomorrow at YouTube is not promised. We're not YouTubers, you know what I'm saying? Steph got jokes. Salute to you for pulling up, brothers. Salute to Schoolboy.
No doubt.
Yeah, man.
Oh, another thing, you know, when we click on our videos, it says it gives us like a warning, like this content may not be suitable, type
Yeah,
shit.
man. I did that on purpose this time. I didn't know where we was gonna go. I even had some other stories I wanted to talk about that were a little graphic, and I might save it for next week. So, that was a way that we can probably protect ourselves. You know what I mean? Just let it be known that you should be 18 or older to watch this. Straight out the gate.
Oh, okay, no doubt.
But Schoolboy, man, travel safe. Steph, travel safe, man. I know y'all both on the road today. You know what I mean? Salute to everybody who pulled up. Just One Love says, great show. Thank you. Redemption's clapping. Thank you. Salute to everybody who pulled up. And on our way out, we're going to give you a second half of the morning playlist. But this has been the Morning Rant.
They walk, they talk, they are faking. I wonder where they've been taken. They have no soul, they are vacant. No longer they are themselves, and it's just a flesh animated. And nobody can help them because the brain is sedated. So I had to learn that we can't take them for face value. Can't take them for face value. Value. So pump up the volume. They walk, they talk, they are faking. I wonder where they've been taken. They have no soul, they are vacant. No longer they are themselves, and it's just a flesh animated. And nobody can help them because the brain is sedated. So I had to learn that we can't take them for face value. Can't take them for face value. Value. So pump up the volume. Just pump up the volume. I predict that you can find the path and get where it goes. I predict that even if you forget, you'll be lit to then know. I predict that most of us are close enough to let go of self-doubt, leave out, left out, step out, flex and grow. I predict that you can see what I predict and we predict the same thing. I predict that most of us live isolate cause we see the insane. I be talking my shit but I am not perfect. I am the victim of my conflict but I fit the mission. I'm wishing that you don't take me for face value. Don't take me for face value. Can't take things for face value. Just pump up the volume. Just pump up the volume. have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny. Yeah, man, I know Kingston, you know. Oh, wow.
She never ready for the yeah.
No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny. No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny.
Yeah. Looking at the mirror, tell me what you see. That reflection, competition, or the enemy? All the rock and scissors, papers for the trees. After the session, she'll be singing all the melodies. All the faith, all the fate. When things get rough, keep it straight. Know yourself, know yourself. Haters out the road, I try for shot below the belt. That's just the cards that we dealt. Time equals wealth. Not giving up because we're working hard, yeah. Not giving up because we're working hard. So pick up everybody that don't accept defeat. Walk like a champion, talk like a champion. Everybody will not take it too deep. Knock for your entrance.
No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny, no. No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny, no.
Some people take the shortcut, end up with bad luck, and want everybody take the blame. Still treading on the long road, a very long road. Every step I've made is clear. Keep on getting closer to Zion's gate, and I can't lose my focus, got to elevate, I'm still grinding patiently, I do the hard work, manifesting dreams, every step I take keeps getting me closer to my destiny, I keep rocking, I got through the process, with each step I keep making progress, don't stop it.
No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny, no. No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny. No matter how big the dream,
you have to start with one. Little seed. Can't skip
a step to your destiny. No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny.
One little seed make the tree grow.
The vision waits for eyes unclouded by longing. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step.
riffs, the vibes too deep. This is spliff, half leaf, half keef. Overtime, 3 shifts last week. At the meet, half sleep, athlete. Did a stretch, something brief. In sharp contrast to the G's underneath. The belly of the beast is starving, and it's talking to police for bargains. Sometime the grounds will freeze in autumn, so pay attention when the leaves start falling. When progress feels far less than far west, I pray you do your best to trust the process. Why? You are divine and you're being, so I tell you every time, cause I mean it. Powerful, excellent, and beautiful. All you gotta do is believe it.
Ready on the one, ready on the. I choreograph the step up. Steady on the one, steady on the. All praise and always the best effort. Ready on the one, ready on the. I choreograph the step up. Steady on the one, steady on the. All praise and always the best effort.
Yeah. Ain't no telling where my mind goes. I can see the vision clearer with my eyes closed. Gun pointed at your Apple for that iPhone download. Hit 'em with that Amazon Prime flow. Steady on the one, steady on the one. Homie caught a body, now he on the run. Stepper, this is chess, not checkers. Putting out my best foot while you give him less effort. And I ain't trying to be the best ever. Certified sick, I don't need to get better. In the cold weather, I don't even rock sweaters, so the biscuits stay hot when the heat apply pressure. This shit remind me of a Western movie. I got a horse named Trigger and a rusty tooth. We can bang out, meet me at the crack of dawn. I'll be waiting in the desert with my weapon drawn.
Ready on the one, ready on the. I choreograph the step up. Steady on the one, steady on the. All praise and always the best effort. Ready on the one, ready on the.
All praise and always the best effort.
I'm Gandhi in his prime, Malcolm at his peak, Martin making his last speech, like Rosa taking the last seat. I'm Marcus making his last reach. I'm Ray in the garden eating his last peach. On the porch with his mama praying his past reach. The mass and the class teach the truth about his story and the glory in his backseat. Take the cuffs off his mind in the shack feet. Take him back to where the facts meet. They even offended on how the blacks greet. They call it passive aggression, now here's the lesson. Time calculates everything in existence, including distance. I promise. So sooner than later they'll see us different. We just gotta see it different, the way that we supposed to. Need help? Let me coach. Work shorty on the
I choreograph the step up. Steady on the one, steady on the. All praise and always the best effort. Ready on the one, ready on the. I choreograph the step up. Steady on the one, steady on the. All praise and always the best effort.
saw that thing so beautiful. She just hit my heart, oh. Full force and she got me like, I be like, baby, why you so fine? Gotta make you mine. So hard to find. Baby, like, oh, how'd you do the thing? The way that you do it, and she ain't even show nothing. She be walking around so confident, so heaven sent. I think she was meant to knock them daylight. Like, girl, you so fine. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Girl, you rockin' like, baby, so fine. Miss Baby, girl, you knock 'em dead. She was so sublime, super fine. She was never lying, strutting in the heels or her slides. Either way, eyes on her every single day, week, year. Everyone wondering how she does it with no fear. All that confidence, was it heaven sent? Does it come within? Does it come run out? I don't know. She'll just have them running out and in. Man, they want to sin, talking deadly sin with Mrs. Lady. I don't understand why she hit them like. Girl, you knock 'em dead. Ooh, it's pretty then.